After the
NK
autumn hunt
books.
wrapped, she exchanged for a one-year right to dispatch store supplies, arranged staff, and stayed busy before and after. Come early October, everything was ready, and an auspicious opening day was set. Before opening time, someone deliberately shouted in the guild, "Delicious Duck opens on the 8th of October. On the first day the whole store is half off, on days 2, 3, for the whole store is 30% off. On days 5, 6, 7 the whole store is 10% off. Friends, if you have money then support loudly, if you do not then support in spirit. Anyone who shows up on day 1 gets a nice gift." At everyone, idle, Van Sam went to watch the bustle, but she was too early and the new shop was not yet open, so she strolled nearby. Along the street there were about 30 shops, more than a dozen already open, and the clothing store was doing best. She stepped in and saw many fresh designs, comfortable fabrics, side details with character. Clothes hanging neat in line waiting to be tried. In another game this would probably be called fashion, she thought. So pretty, buy it. This one moves easily, good for going out. That one is comfy, good for staying home. The starry sky dress is gorgeous, I want to keep one. Inside, female customers had eyes shining and struck fast and hard. The clerk had just hung a final batch, and in a blink both female players and female NPCs swarmed and cleaned everything out, feeling that lingering there made her interaction talent awkward and too prone to accidental bumps. Van Sam backed out and slipped next door. Supermarket, rice shop, Chinese snacks, Western fast food, clinic, Smith stall, gear store, battle pet hospital. The newly opened types were plentiful. Luke reminded, Divine Doctor, Delicious Duck is opening. Seeing the place jammed wall to wall, Van Sam felt resistance rise. No rush. I will go when the crowd thins. After an hour, foot traffic clearly dropped, and she finally entered. The clerk, a brisk young NPC, greeted warmly, browse freely. Today is the first day, all goods are half off. She scanned the menu. Braised chicken feet, braised duck tongues, braised duck feet, braised duck necks, braised duck wishbones, braised duck wings, all familiar braises, with flavors fragrant not spicy, mildly spicy, or aromatic spicy. One fragrant braised chicken feet, one mildly spicy duck tongues, coming right up. The worker packed swiftly. Grand opening today, every customer gets a small portion of mildly spicy duck necks. If it tastes good, come again. Out the door, Van Sam munched a chicken foot, then asked Luke, want some? No need. Luke was about to refuse when a skewer of fragrant duck tongue touched her lips. Try it, it is very aromatic. Face blank, Luke thought this was an order, then bite after bite she grew more enthusiastic. After finishing one skewer, she stifled the urge for another and asked gravely, Divine Doctor, did you come out this time to investigate Delicious Duck? Is there a problem with this shop? Van Sam, I did not, do not slander. Just strolling and buying tasty things. Luke blinked. Aimless wandering is not a waste of time, Van Sam said. Giving time to yourself already has meaning. It can make you happy. Just then a female player passed by with a chicken leg and milk tea in her left hand, pork rinds, crushed peanuts, and a butter cake in her right, shouting with bliss, I want to live the rest of my life in this game. No one can stop me. Look at her. Van Sam sighed. Luke, truly a traveler from another world. Her ways are hard to parse. The new Battle Pet Hospital is planning to challenge a rival. In a flash the air turned feverish, people dashed to report, spirits surging. Luke turned. Go see. No, Van Sam had no interest in shop duels. Buy some food and go home to play with the familiar. The challenge talk entered one ear and left the other. After logging off, the guild chat exploded. Retiree player, anyone good at treating stubborn battle pet diseases? High pay to hire, day rate 500 points. At everyone, retiree player, anyone? DM me. At everyone, 500 points a day was a scary figure. At 1 point per 70 coins, that was 35,000 per day, almost catching the bounty generosity of Tathu Din during the autumn hunt event. At once countless guildmates popped out. Rich lady, can you lower the bar a bit? Is being good at treating people okay? Retiree player, the Battle Pet Hospital is competing on technique. Your opponent heals pets and you heal people. That does not fit. Wow, a grand Battle Pet Hospital contest? Are you the challenger or the challenged? Rich lady, in a guild of several hundred, most only ever met in the VR game, folks lurked by habit, did not know each other's names or faces, only basics like gender, but after long chat you kind of knew temperaments. Well, for instance, clearly did not know who retiree player was and asked that. Retiree player, look at my nickname. Would I do something as unethical as picking a fight? Retiree player, besides, who challenges and ends up boosting the opponent's fame. Wave flags, seems the opponent comes on strong and prepared. You got this, we guildmates have your back. Retiree player, Back me with action, I do not want to lose. Retiree player, that trash opponent has no martial ethics, losing to him is suffocating. Retiree player, a new shop wanting big business is understandable, but coming to the door to challenge and sacrificing peers just to gain notoriety is shameless. If the challenge succeeded, the rival would roar to fame and siphon away much of your customers, a vicious tactic, emboldened only because this was a game with no rivers and lakes ethics. The more Chao Lang thought, the angrier she got, wishing she could ambush the opponent during the match and give him a thorough beating so he would stop hopping around stirring trouble. But if she truly threw hands, even if it vented her anger, she might be caught by the camp patrol, and worse, lose the right to play. Imagining losing this cozy game just because she hated a guy made her heart ache. Absolutely not. Retiree player, anyone good at treating stubborn battle pet diseases? High paid a higher day rate 500 points. At everyone, retiree player, wake up, experts, come earn money. At everyone, just as Van Sam scrolled to the end of guild history, a private window popped. Retiree player, guild master, the opponent embedded agents at the trading market to snipe incense of focusing, hoarded a lot, then gifted NPCs and hired specialists to challenge. Can you make an exception and craft me an urgent batch so I can grease the arena NPCs? Pitiful face.jpg Van Sam, Van Sam, but I suggest you hire the guild master directly for a sure win. Retiree player, you are serious? Van Sam, not joking. Then came a string of fierce cool emotes. Retiree player, when others say sure win I do not believe it, when the guild master says it I do. Retiree player, the duel is best of 3, I lost the first round today. Retiree player, best case is 2 wins in a row to take the match, worst case is losing again tomorrow and the whole thing is over. Van Sam, with me here, losing will not be so easy. What is round 2 about? Like swallowing a calming pill. Chao Lang settled. At Nkang Duck Farm a batch of white egrets breed ducks suddenly fell ill. The owner asked us to come examine them. Van Sam, what symptoms? Retiree player, reportedly listless, no appetite, books, shedding feathers, ducks all gaunt. Specifics we will only know tomorrow. Hearing that, Van Sam was roughly 7 or 8 tenths. Sure, alright, tomorrow I go with you. Next day they met in-game. Van Sam brought Big Black and Luke, while Chao Lang brought a woman NPC around 30 named Dr. Ha. Chao Lang introduced, Dr. Ha works at the pet hospital, skilled and kind. When battle pets fall ill and come for treatment, she handles them. Not that skilled, Dr. Ha said apologetically. If I were truly good, we would not have lost the first round. Chao Lang consoled her, being a doctor is not only skill but also ethics. I see them as lacking ethics. You are far better. Dr. Ha smiled wryly. Van Sam introduced in turn. Luke, my bodyguard, keeps me safe. Big Black, my battle pet, can fight and can eat. I am Van Sam. With some study of medicine, players can see NPC forms of address. NPCs know who is a player, but cannot see player names. She had discovered this by accident. Van Sam? Dr. Ha's eyes widened. The one who cured the rat plague. Chao Lang was puzzled. Rat plague what? As a seldom meeting player she had no idea what happened the night the grey rats raided the camp. Later she heard fragments, half true and half false, even self-contradictory, and took it as gossip. Dr. Ha explained, when grey rats launched a sneak attack, some residents caught the rat plague, fever, body aches, and very contagious. Several famed doctors held a consult and were helpless. Could not agree on a plan, then a doctor wrote a prescription, boiled a cup, and brought it into the quarantine zone. With 1 cup down, mild cases recovered on the spot, even severe cases improved markedly. Saying this, she smiled in relief. With Dr. Van here, this is nothing to worry about. Chao Lang already knew the guild master was no ordinary person, but she had not expected such renown among NPCs. From Dr. Ha's posture, it felt like simply announcing Van Sam's name at the start would solve the case. Steady again, Chao Lang said. The match is about to start, let us go in. Van Sam agreed, and the 4 entered Nkang Duck Farm. A slightly surprised voice sounded, I thought you would not come. Van Sam looked and saw a white name male player, 2-star, with the ID Hadung overhead. Beside him stood a middle-aged male NPC, ID Dr. Luong. The moment she saw Hadung, Chao Lang's blood boiled. You came to my door to challenge, forced me to accept, and now you still provoke to my face. Think I do not get angry. For an instant her rage surged and she really wanted to risk mutual destruction to take Hadung out for good. Don't overthink it, it's just a casual exchange of pointers. Hadung smiled. If your medical skill is any good, let's put hands to work and see the truth. Chao Lang's chest tightened. She wanted to snap that in this encampment a long-standing battle pet hospital kept stirring trouble. Why did heaven pick her for the knife? Wasn't it simply because her Buddha-style storefront looked easy to bully, doing things without conscience yet wearing a righteous mask? How shameless. Her fist went rigid. How do we run the second round? Van Sam broke the tense air. Hadung flicked a glance at the idea atop Van Sam's head, paused a beat, then said, very simple. We split the sick ducks into 2 groups, and everyone treats them by their own ability. If both sides fail, it's a draw. If one succeeds and one fails, the successful side wins. If both succeed, we compare the drug's therapeutic effect, whoever's better wins, truly indistinguishable counts as a tie. Van Sam asked again, who will judge? Hadung, boss Tao of Kang Ranch, Coach Shin a 4-star from the training grounds, and Director Meng of Red Peak Clinic. As she spoke, 3 NPCs appeared. Boss Tao, heavy-set in earnest, pleaded, I sunk my whole fortune to start this duck farm, please, you must cure them. Coach Shin was taciturn, ignored everyone, and looked unapproachable. Director Meng spotted Van Sam and was surprised, but then thought a household that keeps hundreds of magic beasts will know battle pet medicine, so he held his tongue and watched. Dr. Ha tilted her head and murmured, these folks have good reputations, they should judge fairly. Chao Lang looked to Van Sam, who gave the slightest nod. Chao Lang relaxed. Let's begin. Boss Tao divided the ducks into 2 groups, each with both mild and severe cases. You choose first, said Hadung. Just seeing this person riled Chao Lang, and she was about to fling some sarcasm when Van Sam said, much obliged, and neatly chose the group on the right. Chao Lang fell silent. Hadung wants to step on others to climb, so he cherry-picks an opponent to smash the shop. In case he loses, Van Sam drew out her tone. Chao Lang's eyes lit up, he'll swallow the bitter fruit, his name will stink, and with a shop just opened the business will die. On the left there are cases with complications, trickier to treat. Van Sam smiled mildly. Since he's offered to let us pick first, we shouldn't waste his kindness. With the same methods, white-egret ducks that are sicker recover slower, complications are treatable, but frailty hurts the final scoring, so handing those to the other side is perfect. Chao Lang, makes sense. Dr. Ha pinned a duck and examined it. After a moment her face darkened. How can this be? It doesn't look sick, Chao Lang thought. The duck is listless, has no appetite, and its plumage is thin. Even a layperson like me can see something's wrong. How is it not sick? Should we use healing powers first? She suggested. That's a last resort, Dr. Ha disagreed. If you don't find the root cause, it'll relapse. Powers only trim the branches. You can't run to a clinic every time. First, doctors aren't always free. Second, powers are limited. Third, house calls cost money and too many add up. I get it, but if we cure ours and they can't cure theirs, don't we win the second round? Don't think like that, Van Sam said bluntly. You treat the symptoms while they treat the root. The gap in level is huge, that's a real loss. Chao Lang wilted. I was just asking, forget it. She had opened a battle pet clinic to pass time, live easy, farm experience, and legitimately groom Fluffy Fluff. She wasn't versed in medicine, and the idea she blurted out hadn't been thought through. Van Sam turned to Dr. Ha, see anything? It's a strange syndrome, Dr. Ha frowned. Magic beasts brim with vitality, so when they fall ill it's usually serious. Hair loss and lethargy are small ailments and shouldn't appear. I've never managed such minor troubles for magic beasts, so the drugs and doses must be weighed carefully. Alas, time pressed, and over there Dr. Luong had already written a prescription. Guild leader, save me, Chao Lang gazed at Van Sam with hope. Van Sam dashed off a prescription. Done. Dr. Ha smiled wryly. This was likely a duel of high technicians, seasoned enough to write without thinking. If it were her, she'd still be weighing, because a wrong herb or wrong dose turns saving a pet into harming it. The commonly used ingredients had long been prepared. Van Sam and Dr. Luong decocted the medicine themselves, then fed bowls of it one by one to the sick white-egret ducks. As soon as the brew hit their stomachs, some ducks visibly brightened, a few fanned wings, craned necks, and cried out as if begging for food. Boss Tao rejoiced and praised nonstop. Dr. Luong is truly a divine physician reborn. The doubt on Hadung's face cleared. He proclaimed loudly, I win. Dr. Luong wins, Van Sam loses. Chao Lang blanched, almost unable to accept it, yet looking closely, the ducks treated by the other side were indeed spirited, while Van Sam still lay lazily. though improved, the effect was far weaker. How could this be? Did Ha Dong and Van Sam secretly collude to trap her? In an instant, 1,000 thoughts. Ha Dong chuckled. When I saw you call in Van Sam, I paused, thinking this might be tricky. Turns out her outside fame hides such meager strength. Makes sense, her concoctions are for humans. What would she know of magic beasts? A retiree gamer of the Buddha path, Xiao Lang could not stomach petty men flaunting triumph. If the game's grace was gone, then cut the man first and tidy the mess later. Her hand touched the dagger, eyes flitting to pick a vital point for a sneak strike, but as her fingers brushed the hilt, Luk pressed her elbow. Van Sam hasn't lost. Ha! Look carefully, the beasts they treated aren't right, Luk said calmly. Xiao Lang peered and saw a white-eared duck that had just perked up suddenly topple, body jerking again and again. What's happening? Boss Tao cried. Before he could grasp it, the whole batch treated by Dr. Luong went down in a wave, seizing it once. One was so severe it coughed blood. Doctor, save them, Boss Tao begged Dr. Luong. The smile froze on Ha Dong's face. He shot a look at Dr. Luong. Strange, this shouldn't. Dr. Luong was baffled, not yet understanding. The formula can't be wrong. I've treated this illness and it cleared immediately then. They're all juveniles at a ranch. You misjudged the dose. Van Sam exposed the answer, and signaled Dr. Ha to use healing powers to ease the duck's crises. Juveniles? Dr. Luong first stared, then woke to it. A ranch raises magic beasts, not battle pets, to prevent injuries to people. Any that aren't grown get killed. The ones he treated before were adult white-eared battle pets. Copying the adult formula and dose invites disaster. Juveniles are frail and must be nursed slowly, Van Sam said. My prescription is the best ratio. It brings quick effect, but the side effects are heavy. If they can't withstand it, death is no surprise. Remembering the ghastly scene just now, everyone knew the words were true. So what's wrong with them? Boss Tao asked, baffled. They ate the wrong thing, Van Sam said. They dug in the dirt and ate mutated worms. At that, Boss Tao recalled, lately they love to dig at that corner. I thought it was a new habit, turns out they were after worms. Mutated worms aren't fit for random ingestion, best to clear them out first or fence the ducks off, Van Sam reminded. I understand, thank you for the guidance, divine physician, Boss Tao said with a respectful bow. Outside fame, meager strength, is that it? Van Sam tilted her head at Ha Dong. Ha! Dong gnashed his teeth and nearly lost control of his face. Van Sam asked the three judges, the outcome is clear, when will the result be announced? Boss Tao jumped in, right now, congratulations on your victory. Director Meng added, Van Sam measured the dose precisely, juveniles demand extra care, she's the fully deserving winner. Coach Shen had no objections. The score stood at 1 apiece, a temporary draw. I knew it, Van Sam, you're the best, Xiao Lang shouted, forgetting how anxious she'd just been, even flirting with a shady thought. What's the third round? Van Sam inquired. Ha Dong said nothing. Instead, Coach Shin spoke for the first time. I raise a 4-star black paw cat battle pet. Lately it's ill, can't sleep, poor appetite, heavy mood swings, bad temper, prone to losing reason, sometimes doesn't even recognize me. In the third round, we'll see who can cure it. Van Sam, who spends her days calming 5-star beasts, thought, a gift-wrapped question. Ha Dong, not knowing what awaited him, still tossed a cruel line as he stepped up. You only won because of a moment's slip. Next time luck won't favor you. Dr. Luong, however, let a flicker of tension and unease show whenever his gaze brushed Van Sam. Calling it a moment's slip was gilding his own face. Even if he had realized they were juveniles, he couldn't have produced the optimal ratio without time to study and refine. Seeing this, Dr. Ha sighed and shook her head. He has no idea how formidable Dr. Van is. Or he's putting on a confident face while hunting help behind the scenes, Xiao Lang guessed. On that note, Van Sam grew curious. If you can't beat someone, is it fine to throw money at outside help? Normally a contest wouldn't allow it. No problem, Xiao Lang said matter-of-factly. Connections are a kind of ability too. If we compete, we compare a shop's overall strength. The argument was so reasonable that Van Sam had no rebuttal. After a brief hesitation, Xiao Lang carefully asked, about tomorrow's round, do you have it in hand? Van Sam, there are too many ways to treat it. I haven't decided which to use to win. The swagger matched a true guild leader. Chao Lang was impressed. The next day they met again, and sure enough there was one more person beside Ha Deng, a 3-star player with the ID Nakton. The venue was Coach Shin's home. The moment they entered, a cat lay sprawled lazily on the table, a black paw cat, as the name implies, with pads black as ink and a coat cloaked in midnight. Don't be fooled by its round body, sleek ears, and big bright eyes. It's a born hunter and the most successful predator among felines, with superb sight and sharp hearing, adept at ambush, and remarkable combat power. Seeing strangers step in, it sprang up, bristling with a tiger's snarl, Mungeo, super fierce. Coach Tam stepped closer and soothed the combat pet by stroking with the grain. The black cat stared unblinking at everyone with a still fierce look. The third match is split into 3 parts, treating the anorexia, smoothing out negative emotions, and coaxing to sleep. We will judge the more outstanding side based on both teams' performance. The judges remained Boss Tao, Coach Tam, and Manager Man, 3 NPC. After explaining the rules, Coach Tam signaled both sides to begin within 1 hour, using ingredients already in the kitchen. First, make a cat meal that can satisfy the black cat. Nakton smiled confidently and headed for the kitchen. Van Sam extended her forefinger to scratch the black cat's chin while checking its body, teased it for a while and then rose to go into the kitchen. As she left, the black cat lingered, craning its neck to keep her for more scratches, but those heartless beastly feet, once stroked, ran off coldly and without sentiment, watching her retreating figure. The black cat brimmed with resentment. Sensing its mood, Coach Tam frowned and asked softly what was wrong. This little one was not normally clingy, nor did it let people pet it at will. So what was going on today? Could the illness be worsening? The old father fretted. The black cat weakly replied that it was nothing, just someone stroked the cat without paying, a free ride, and ran very fast. A small matter the cat could stand. The cat would not hold a grudge. Hearing the pet say it was fine, the coach relaxed. In the kitchen, Nakton took the whole block of mutated eel to make cat food and left not even a bit of trim for Van Sam. Seeing that, even Chao Lang, who knew little, understood, banking on easy ingredients to bully others. No wonder he dashed in first for fear of being scooped. Van Sam glanced at the eel, about half a palm in size, not enough to fill the black cat's teeth. If feeding eel alone could cure a 4-star combat pet's bad eating, Coach Tam would not have invited someone to treat it. Dr. Ha analyzed calmly. Nakton stiffened, unsure if he heard, but soon moved smoothly as if unaffected. Beside him, Dr. Luong also busied himself. Clearly they had divided the work. At this moment, Chao Lang grasped their plan. Regardless of curing the 4-star pet well or not, as long as their performance beat ours, they could win. A simple, brutal idea. Boss, can you carry this? Can you shoulder it? Asked Chao Lang. If I could. Not. What kind of boss would I be? Van Sam chuckled, and Chao Lang felt at ease waving his perfume. Dr. Ha offered help, but Van Sam gently refused. Cat meals I must make by hand for the best effect. So Dr. Ha and Chao Lang stood shoulder to wave perfume. In the rivals' eyes this became knowing they cannot win, so they give up. Nakton felt certain of victory and smiled brighter. Dr. Luong played objective, saying perhaps she feared clumsy hands would add trouble, so she handled all of it herself. That stiffened Nakton's smile as he looked over, thinking this NPC could not read the room. And then Ha Deng also said, victory is not decided, focus and work hard, do not waste. Outwardly serious yet inwardly dismissive, for before the match he had learned the black cat at Tam's home was extremely anorexic and picky, would only manage a few bites of mutated eel and ignored all else. So once he seized the ingredient, he counted the win in hand. Whatever the opponent did, they could not flip the table. Enter a contest without homework and you deserve to lose. He sneered inside while keeping a bland face, doing his part. After 40 minutes both cat meals were nearly done at the same time. Because Nakton and Dr. Luong moved a shade faster, they served first before the black cat eel rice plate. Please enjoy. Setting the dish down, he wore a knowing smile as if he had foreseen victory. The plate layered tidy eel cubes over rice, broccoli, carrot, and a boiled egg, the colors and aroma enticing. The black cat gave face and came over, then ate all the eel and touched nothing else. Still a failure. Dr. Luong sighed quietly. Aside from eel, everything else, truly as rumored, was untouched. He had wanted to test a cure. Now he was only glad he had used all the eel, as Nakton said. At least that safeguarded the chance to win. When it was Van Sam's turn, she came with a tray, fish bone fritters, fish bones, flesh, and skin minced and seasoned into small balls, then fried to golden. That is fish bone fritters, a snack she had used to feed Big Black and thereby forge deep friendship. Now returning to communicate with the black cat, fragrance bloomed at once. The black cat craned to sniff, and when the golden balls were set down it sniffed again and cautiously tasted. The moment it touched the tongue the crisp savory beyond imagination shocked the cat's face, then it opened wide and gobbled, cheeks bulged, jaws flew, as if starved for 3 months, anorexia and pickiness, non-existent. Nakton could not believe it and was about to accuse cheating. How could a cat said to be picky eat her food so fragrantly? There must be a problem. But before he spoke, Coach Tam strode up overjoyed. As long as you can eat, good, look at you, you have grown thin these days, he said while fondly stroking his pet, once soft fur now thin and rough to the touch, the whole cat bony and pitiful. Boss Tao sighed, worthy of a miracle doctor. Too formidable, Manager Mana's eyes flashed. Oddly, Van Sam, you give me another surprise. Dr. Ha smiled. I knew it. Leave others aside, Dr. Van would manage. On our side Dr. Luong shook his head and lamented with Van Sam as opponent. Cannot win. The NPC seemed brainwashed and looked at Van Sam with deep admiration, as if others could not while she naturally could. The field clearly had our 3, their 4, and 3 judges, balanced on paper, yet Nakton felt encircled by enemies, as if no allies remained but him. He looked to Ha Dung for security, only to find Ha Dung watching him, lips mouthing silently. Did you not say sure win? Though he had not said it aloud his attitude meant it. He explained awkwardly, I do not know why they do not play by common sense and why the black cat responds to them. It was said to eat nothing but eel and then in the next second it changed. A 4-star combat pet's temperament was too mercurial. Trash. Ha Dung swallowed the curse, pressed his temples and thought what to do next, for if they lost one more round the other side would completely win the match. Thinking of the aftermath his vision darkened. He regretted to the extreme how he had been ill-advised to come challenge the shop, like finding life too comfortable and digging his own grave. Truly ridiculous to the point of panic. His face grew darker by the moment. After those divine maneuvers the humiliation was enough to die socially. Compared to that, whether the new pet hospital's business would be affected was nothing. If truly unwinnable, a draw is fine, absolutely must not lose, he said grimly. I think Van Sam cheated. The more Nakton pondered the more he believed himself. She must have used some method unknown to us to win. What method? What operation? Asked Ha Dung, and Nakton had no answer. Where is the evidence? Again he asked, and there was none. Ha Dung said flatly, next time you want to play dirty, at least find a reason that sounds like something. And Nakton fell silent, wanting to say his suspicion had logic. Why could she break common limits and do what others could not? Did that not scream problem? Yet with no proof he swallowed it and swore to watch her tightly and never let her succeed again. While they spoke, the black cat finished the fritters till the plate gleamed and circled Van Sam seeking seconds. Even at the cost of dignity, it flopped down for strokes to beg another meal, and Van Sam looked to the judges to await the result. First round, Van Sam wins, announced Coach Tam. Boss Tao and Manager Man nodded their agreement. Second round, smoothed the black cat's negative emotions, he continued, and Ha Dung, seeing the little-tailed black cat sticking to Van Sam, said darkly, this match is unfair. We earned the cat's trust with our skill. What is unfair about that? If you have the skills, bond with it and soothe it too, retorted Chao Lang. To assess both sides' abilities overall we split into 3 rounds. If you cannot cure the anorexia and cannot calm the temper, I deem the outcome decided and no need to continue, Coach Tam said solemnly, and Ha Dung was struck dumb, hearing that either they keep playing like this or simply declare Van Sam the winner. No other option. He could only signal with his eyes to Dr. Luong and Nakton to act quickly. When Dr. Luong tried to approach, the black cat fled first. Nakton tried to block and was slapped, forced to plead with Coach Tam, please hold it. The coach fell silent, unable even to get near yet talking of calming. Please think of a way yourself, he said coolly without moving, and Chao Lang adored this NPC to death. Super fair, super lovable, super fun, she chimed in gravely. Right, in a match you should manage on your own. Fearing a loss here would end the third round, Nakton played his trump, pulling out a sachet and opening it toward the black cat, coaxing softly, come here. The cat twitched its nose, bewitched, stepping toward him. And Van Sam also smelled a drifting medicinal scent. It felt familiar. In the next heartbeat she recalled where and blanched, that is mutated catnip. Seal it and throw it out now, he snorted his disdain. Catnip had fatal allure to cats. It was what he had procured with luck, the key to victory. How could he toss it? He felt she was jealous that he was about to overturn the game, so he not only failed to seal it but opened it wider for the cat to enjoy. Mutated catnip makes feline combat pets lose reason and go berserk. Throw it away. Van Sam raised her voice, which shocked him, and though he did not know if it was true he reached to put it away just in case. Too late, for the black cat's eyes filled with bloodthirsty heat, locked on him like a hunter on prey. The apocalypse had mutated flora and fauna to varying degrees. Once upon a time worms were on the duck's menu to add nutrition. Now a white-egret duck eating mutated worms would have diarrhea. Once eel could feed cats, now even mutated eels still could be fed without side effects. Once catnip only excited cats without real harm, now the scent of mutated catnip makes feline combat pets lose reason. Realizing the situation, Nakton was doomed. The black cat slashed at its prey's neck. He stared wide but said nothing before turning to white light. Hadung had thought losing the bout was bad enough. Who knew it could get worse? After a string of divine operations, even the right to play was about to fly away. He, unable to help himself, quickly backed off to distance himself from the raging cat. In fact, the instant Van Sam warned, Luke had rushed to subdue the pet, but because Nakton lured it too close there was no saving him. After the character died, Luke wrapped the black cat tightly to prevent further harm. Chao Lang glanced at Hadung and sneered, running alone, have you no shame, then strode over to yank Dr. Luong away, who still shaken looked at her gratefully, as chaos unfolded. Coach Tam froze for a moment, then jumped in to subdue the pet swiftly to avoid harming innocents. Dr. Van, do you have a method? Dr. Ha asked anxiously. That one used medicine recklessly. The cat is innocent, but if it rages in camp it will be punished severely. I know, said Van Sam, pulling out a packet and tossing it to Luke. Let the cat smell this, the scent will calm it. Luke bound with vines and brought the packet close. Upon merely opening it the cat sniffed and began to regain reason, at least. Aware of wrongdoing and no longer thrashing as hard, after forming a pact, pets usually grow gentler, but there are exceptions. Is the black cat's illness from a congenital deficiency, an accident, or is it that you, as its master, have mental issues that affect the pact? Van Sam looked at Coach Tam, eyes probing, and his face shifted slightly as if touched and also suppressing it. She sincerely suggested, before treating the pet, would you like to examine yourself first? A 4-star combat pet losing control is one thing. Could a 4-star ability user also lose control? Luke frowned inwardly and took a guarded stance toward the coach. As soon as she was on guard, his eyes flushed red with blood, clearly about to break. Van Sam was speechless, revealing the illness only to trigger it. Afraid of doctors perhaps? Fall back, cried Chao Lang, grabbing Dr. Ha with her left and Van Sam with her right, dragging them away fast. Big Black stuck to Van Sam like a shadow. The others also withdrew. Boss Tao broke into a cold sweat, never expecting a match to escalate like this. Manager Man had already been operating a black watch and now folded his hands calmly to await reinforcements. As the master flared, the black cat again showed signs of frenzy. Luke bound the cat with vines and faced Coach Tam herself. After a few exchanges, a 4-star golden feathered eagle suddenly appeared and pinned the black cat with a single slap. Chu Hong sneak thrust silver needles to acupoints and sealed the coach's movement. Why are you here so fast? Asked Luke. This is the trainer's dorm training yard. I live next door. I got Manager Mana's notice and came at once, Chu Hong explained. No wonder in time. Luke looked at the coach and turned cold, gravely ill yet unreported, obviously endangering camp safety. Tam DM new and still aired, crime +1 grade. Seeing both man and cat subdued, the others dared approach, and Chao Lang asked pointedly, we soothe the monster and then the berserk human. The result is pretty clear. Yes, Manager Man nodded. Van Sam wins. Boss Tao agreed. With 2 judges the outcome was set. Hadung should have been in pain, yet after that fright he felt oddly relieved. At least he was alive and still in the game to think of other ways, whereas the well-prepared Nakton, certain of gaming the victory, played so hard he lost his game qualification. As he thought that, he saw Dr. Luong bow to him. My ability is too poor to deserve your trust. I hereby resign. Hadung gaped. Losing the match was one thing. How could the NPC hired with more than a dozen sticks of tranquil spirit incense also leave? Dr. Luong's medical skill is exquisite. Why be modest? His eyes drifted to Van Sam for a beat and he grudgingly said, this time we met a strong foe and failed. An accident. Coming to challenge a shop was ungenerous to begin with. And we lost. Dr. Luong shook his head with a sigh. Sir, please hire someone better. And, ignoring Hadung's attempts to keep him, hurried off. Passing by Chao Lang he paused to whisper, thank you for pulling me just now. If you do not mind, please add my contact. Should you need anything later, just say the word. Chao Lang hazily exchanged details and still did not quite grasp what had happened. Van Sam sighed that a simple soul has a simple blessing. When the cat rioted, Hadung only ran for himself, while Chao Lang pulled Dr. Luong, which deeply moved him. Thus he resigned and sought friendship. In days to come a few gifts at the right times and an invitation would likely bring him over. Do not be fooled by his powerlessness before Van Sam. Being treasured by Hadung meant his strength was not low, plus winning the first round showed he surpassed Dr. Ha. With him sitting in, at least Chao Lang need not fear challengers at the door. After Dr. Ha whispered a few words, Chao Lang finally realized she had picked up a massive Bargain, after all that trouble to switch to a storefront and recruit NPC, one fierce flurry not only damaged reputation but shed talent. Now he was both angry and speechless and still had to consider cleanup, like how to run the newly opened combat pet clinic. Seeing the situation under control, Van Sam went to examine the black cat, bound by vines and then pressed by the golden eagle. It was grimy and pitiful, now it buried its face against the packet from her, striving to inhale 1, 2, 3 breaths. Life was not easy, the cat sighed. And it could only live by that packet for now. Perhaps the herbs had taken effect, for its eyes grew clear and its irritability fell greatly. You truly are unlucky, said Van Sam as she picked it up and rubbed its spine. The black cat squinted in comfort and, rarely, looked docile. Right then Tam DM seemed triggered. Silver needles sprang from his body and he roared, lunging straight at Van Sam. Luke was conferring with Chu Hong about next steps when he slipped his bonds and tried to ambush the miracle doctor. She snapped coldly and sent vines to strike but was a heartbeat late. Then Big Black bravely shielded its master, biting his shin to keep him from nearing. Seeing him rush over, Van Sam understood it was not an ambush but a mind not yet clear, instinctively seeking her for solace. But she was a proper physician and a grown man barreling in was unbecoming. Without hesitation she threw the cat like a hidden weapon. Mew, the black cat blinked, bonking its master's nose. And because of the pact, even maddened, he would not strike his own pet. He froze for a blink and was subdued by Luke and Chu Hong together. One who seeks treatment must show the attitude of one who seeks treatment. The way you just lunged will never be treated by me, Van Sam rebuked righteously, and at the thought of nearly being hugged by him she filled with aversion. Luke and Chu Hong exchanged a silent look, deeply worried for their lord's safety. After the duel ended in a sweeping win, Chao Lang bounced back into the cash shop game and showered the chat with red envelope giveaways. She stuck to her passphrase, Guild Leader number 1, no rebuttals, and any guildmate wanting to snatch a red envelope had to echo it exactly, so the whole feed thundered with Guild Leader number 1, no rebuttals, the scene roaring like surf, faintly brainwashing. Still not satisfied, Chao Lang poured on the rainbow praise. So what if the enemy is strong? We've got the Guild Leader, we can flip on cheats, superb external support, a cash player experience worth having, first-class service feel, everyone who rented says it's great, and guildmates chimed in. If we didn't already know you're a rich lady, we'd think you hired paid posters for the Guild Leader. Rich lady becomes goofy hype captain. Is this morality buried or human nature twisted? What does the Guild Leader even do to make paying players bow? Wake up, you've got money and power. AUI, retiree player. Curious yet, retiree player. Rent once and you'll know. Then she fired off 2 more passphrase red envelopes. For any problem, ask the Guild Leader, guaranteed. Guild Leader 1 smack. After several waves of red envelopes doubling as brainwash ads, plenty of guildmates really took those lines to heart, and the first thing they thought of at any injustice afterward was to seek the Guild Leader's help. Van Sam had no idea Chao Lang was praising her to the heavens. At this moment she faced the greatest challenge since the game began, and the story starts when the duel ended. Chao Lang logged off, Van Sam returned to her manor to make medicines, Luke and Chu Hong escorted Shin DM and the Black Ducat away, and everything looked neatly wrapped. But just as Van Sam readied her materials and before she could begin, Luke Min summoned her. I heard you ran into an assassin today, he asked casually. Not an assassination, Van Sam answered lightly, just someone who suddenly fell ill and lunged at me. She summarized the whole affair. Unexpectedly, Luke Min asked, if a stranger just leaps on you, why save me? Huh, said Van Sam. When I get sick the first thing I do is grab you. Why didn't you push me away? Why, after being clearly offended, were you still willing to save me? Why am I the exception? He repeated patiently, point by point. Van Sam was mute. Social death, so she tried to explain. Because you're a 5-star. If you lose control others are in danger, Luke Min said. Shin DM is a veteran 4-star, if he loses control others are in danger too, and Van Sam groaned inwardly. The pavilion has collapsed, bones to dust. She switched excuses. Because you're the Hongfeng settlement lord, he asked again. If Shin DM were lord, would you save him the same? Van Sam, the answer was no. And she couldn't smother her conscience and say yes, so the air congealed. Then, cool as if solving a proof, Luke Min said, from the first meeting, my feelings were strange, whether lucid or sick. I've never thought of hurting you, even if the illness worsens and my temper turns wild and cruel, unrecognizable, with only killing on my mind, I still won't attack you. And Van Sam jolted, seizing the perfect pretext. Honestly, me too, from the first meeting I just wanted to save you. Yes, destiny arranged it all, nothing to do with her, expert potthrow achieved. He glanced at her and continued, when you weren't around, I prepared a batch of 4-star cubs for you. After waiting long and not seeing you return, I handed them off. Chuhong's golden-feathered eagle is from me, Shindiam's black ducat is from me, and other beasts besides originally all for you. Van Sam held her tongue but thought she knew, in the previous life she'd received those gifts. I'm not a tender person, but for you I always make exceptions. Perhaps this is love at first. Before he finished, Van Sam ran, using the perfect timing trick to log off, like the system auto-kicking you for exceeding today's online quota. Natural as rain. Faced with an empty room, Luke Min, pummeled by verbal artillery, Van Sam took heavy damage, social and physiological deaths in tandem, backed into her ultimate, the log-off vanish. Has Luke Min gone mad? We're not even in the same world. What's this love at first sight? She was speechless. Unrequited love is simple, you like when you like, stop when you don't, one moment deep as the sea, the next you bolt, nothing wrong. Proper dating is different, fleeing mid-confession is cheating feelings. Moreover, the coward and Weaver at least meet once a year, but she and Luke Min, will they ever truly meet in this life? What's the point of this romance talk? As I recall, none of this goofy mess happened last life. Why is this life so changed? She lay in bed thinking and drifted off. The night was restless and rare for her, full of dreams. At times she saw herself spending roughly 10 hours a day online studying medicine translation, then she, Luke, left trust, right righteousness, and Chu Hong together still failing to raise a 5-star beast properly, then Luke Min's condition slightly improving only for him to go out courting death again, and every time she would nag till the end. Yet when the settlement faced trouble again and Luke Min chose to risk himself, she still respected his will. The world refuses to align with wishes, beyond ailing bodies or burdens on the shoulders, and sometimes one must choose between two equally vital things. After waking, she felt more exhausted than a whole night grinding in game, had a snarl of thread and spirit drained. After a lavish breakfast and a cup of coffee she cleared a little, logging into her info account, a private chat popped up. Retiree player, news, Hadung plans to transfer the shop, the Battle Pet Hospital won't even open. Retiree player, he deserves it. Even through the screen Van Sam felt Chao Lang's bounce, and she replied soullessly, really, yes. Chao Lang bubbled, word of the duel spread, everyone's laughing themselves silly, saying they've never seen anyone flip the table and turn their own fame rancid like that. No reputation, no NPC attendance to sit the counter, what else but close. The hunt exchange was for a 1-year shop use right, with about 11 months left. Transferring it out isn't bad, he can claw back some, but who told him to make such a stink? Folks either fear the shop's bad feng shui or the stink he smeared on it, so nobody wants it. Whoever agrees to take it slashes the price mercilessly. Even if Hadung manages to transfer it, he'll bleed a fat sum. Knowing Hadung dug his own pit made Chao Lang glow with comfort, and a few lines of chat lifted Van Sam's mood. But once they finished, she dazed again. If she logged in, would she run into Luke Min? And if so, what should she say? Though I really like you, I don't plan to do an interworld romance, so let's just like each other casually and you don't need to care too much, which sounded like a rogue's line. Half an hour slipped by without an answer. She sighed, donned the VR helm, and, eyes set with grim resolve, logged in. Unexpectedly, she still didn't see Luke Min nor did anyone seek her. She made a fresh batch of mind-calming incense, went to the market to deliver goods and post pills, then played with the beasts in the yard. As her online time neared the daily cap, she still hadn't seen him and finally asked Luke, where is he? Who? The Lord. Work piled up, needs handling. He left at dawn and won't be back till night, which meant if she left before dark they wouldn't meet. Schooling her face to hide the relief, she made it sound casual. Alright, got it. For 2 straight days, Luke Min left early and returned late, their play windows perfectly out of phase. Van Sam mixed new medicine packs, simmered mind-soothing broth, made sedative incense, prepared bath solutions, and passed everything through Luke without showing up herself. Awkward at first, she soon grew very pleased with this leisurely retiree rhythm and thought to keep living like this. At that moment, Manager Man arrived. I accepted Hadung's invitation and just served as dual witness. At first he claimed he'd prove to me that Dr. Luong is one of the settlement's few elite battle pet doctors, but facts proved the strongest is you. Van Sam asked curiously. Boss Tao accepted to cure the White Heronduck Ranch plague. Coach Shin accepted to treat a 4-star battle pet. What about you? What do you seek? For the settlement's guard corps, Manager Man said solemnly. He recounted the settlement's battle pet craze and how some guards tried keeping pets too. Over a year, pets greatly aided their owners and helped protect the settlement, but many caught all manner of odd illnesses. Saving people isn't the same as saving beasts, and doctors brilliant with humans often lack beast healing experience, so he had to look elsewhere. Hadung, seeing his bind, stepped up to prove himself, but his strength lagged far behind his ambition and, in the end, nearly showcased you. Van Sam silently praised him as quite the operator, dueling without forgetting to farm NPC favor. Pity his strength was short, incidents piled up, and he had the bad luck to meet her. Otherwise, with a perfect win, he'd have both helped an NPC and entered their good graces, maybe even stepped on someone else to ascend and make a name in one move. Manager Man finally stated his aim. Well, would you help me, for the coming stretch, have guard members bring their battle pets to you, in turn, for treatment? Van Sam asked crisply. What's the pay? He choked, then asked, what do you want? And Van Sam, wanting far too much, listed a string of herbs and ended with, the more the better. He stared for a while and then said slowly, Hong Fong Clinic cultivates herbs. Each quarter we allocate a portion as strategic supplies and ship it to the warehouse, normally not to be drawn. The rest we sell and set marketing strategies as needed. And Van Sam instantly caught 2 points. The warehouse stores sound like a lot, and normally not drawn means exceptions exist. The question is treating the guards' battle pets worthy of an exception. Manager Man smiled. Treating pets alone, not necessarily. Treating both members and pets, definitely. To this day, many residents still suffer torment from mental illnesses. Such sickness has no cure, and once you register your illness, your physical freedom ends up restricted. Shindiam hid his report because he refused to lose his freedom. Van Sam thought, how did this become buy one get one? Still, she truly needed those materials for beast advancement. Before, constrained by resources, wolf dogs and standard breeds advanced slowly. Now that she knew the warehouse held abundant stock, she could hardly restrain herself. Imagine a few dozen 4-star beasts going on a trip together. Now that's face. After a moment's thought, Van Sam nodded, deal. Ugh. During patrol, Neum Thursday's vision darkened, and a familiar rush of agitation rose inside him. You okay? His partner asked warily. Careful with your temper, it's about time for your monthly episode. Yeah. Neum Thursday forced himself to calm down, controlling his emotions before speaking. I'll ask the captain for leave later, take 3 days off. Be careful on your way home, his partner reminded. Don't worry, I won't die, Neum Thursday replied with forced lightness. Once I'm home, lock the door, eat a bit, sleep a day, wake up and I'll be fine again. Though ranked 3-star in overall ability, Neum Thursday was unlucky enough to suffer from a mental disorder that clouded his mind every month. Luckily, his condition was mild, usually sleeping a day at home was enough. Of course, during attacks he was foggy, and afterward he remembered little. Whether he just slept through or truly lost control, even he wasn't sure. Whenever he felt unwell, he'd hurry to file a leave request. After resting, he'd return to duty. That was his routine. I've been sick for over a year, I'm used to asking for leave now, he said, then added, but what worries me more than my mental state is my combat pet, it's been lethargic lately. Did you take it to the vet? His partner asked. I did. The doctor examined it, prescribed medicine, no use, Neum Thursday said bitterly. The visit was expensive, and the medicine didn't work. Points wasted for nothing. Man, your luck's rotten. His partner wanted to comfort him, but just then the captain approached and interrupted. Neum Thursday, take the afternoon off. Bring your 3-star Black Panther to see the doctor. Neum Thursday tensed. Sir, I'm fine. I just need to rest at home, no need to visit a clinic. The pet's the one seeing the doctor. You're just tagging along, the captain said flatly. Neum Thursday blinked, confused. The captain's tone hardened. Here's the address. You must go. That's an order. Yes, sir. 30 minutes later, Neum Thursday followed orders, taking his 3-star Black Panther out. As he walked, the place felt off. This eastern district was a rundown neighborhood, but strangely deserted. NK Books. Most houses were abandoned, only a few families scattered about. Before he could make sense of it, he reached the destination. Name? Asked the NPC Dr. Ha at the gate. Neum Thursday. Dr. Ha flipped through records, glanced at the panther, nodded, and waved him in. Go ahead. Neum Thursday looked around. The bamboo-fenced yard was huge and full of people. Since when had the East District gotten a busy pet hospital? He'd never heard of it. After scanning curiously for a while, he noted silently, there wasn't even a signboard. Follow me, said Dr. Ha, leading him inside. Soon they entered a bamboo hut. "This is Dr. Van Sam," Dr. Ha introduced. "And this is Guard Neum Thursday." Van Sam glanced at the Black Panther and beckoned, "Come here, let me take a look." The panther's fur was sleek and shiny, well cared for but thin, not particularly impressive. No matter, healing someone else's pet still paid. "Doctor, this one's shy, doesn't like strangers, it might not cooperate." Neum Thursday didn't finish before his pet happily bounded toward Van Sam and lay down obediently. So much for being shy. The panther practically offered itself. Neum Thursday, so this was top-tier skill, winning over others' battle pets instantly? Van Sam gave the panther a thorough examination, then said, "It was injured before. The wound never fully healed and has worsened over time." "Can it be cured?" "Yes." Van Sam stood and went to the kitchen to prepare medicine. Neum Thursday quietly asked Dr. Ha, "There are so many people here, why does the doctor cook her own medicine?" Dr. Ha chuckled, "This is a manor, not a hospital." As for Dr. Van, she personally brews her remedies. For better effect. "I'm from the patrol team," Neum Thursday said, "our captain sent me here." "So this isn't even a clinic?" "Dr. Van's skills are exceptional," Ha said. She agreed to treat the patrol team as a favor. "The whole patrol team?" Neum Thursday asked, startled. "So it's not just me?" "You seem lost," Ha said. "You really don't know who she is?" "Should I?" Ha frowned. "You've never used premium spirit herb balm?" "Of course I have. I'm a loyal customer of Red Peak Clinic's balm." "Then do you know calming incense?" "Sure. Because of it, people visit the trade market more than home," Neum Thursday grumbled, clearly recalling some painful experience. "Then how do you not know Van Sam?" "I use spirit herb balm and buy calming incense daily, but why must I know her personally?" "Because the premium spirit herb balm was her improved formula, sold to Red Peak Clinic," Ha explained. "And the calming incense?" "She makes it herself. Her name's even listed on the product. When the rat plague hit, she was the one who cured the infected. So it was her." "No wonder." He silently bowed to the Great One, serves him right for forgetting her name. 20 minutes later, Van Sam returned with 2 bowls of medicine. One she handed to Neum Thursday, "This is calming soup. Drink it." The other to the panther, "This one's for healing." Knowing who she was, Neum Thursday trusted completely. Without hesitation, he downed the bowl. Perhaps it was placebo, but as soon as he drank, his violent impulses vanished. Calm returned. Even the thought of work felt fine again. He was secretly stunned. Normally his episodes lasted 2 to 3 days, the first day restless, violent urges rising, his mood swinging wildly, he'd take leave and never risk pushing through. The second day worse, sometimes losing reason altogether, he'd lock himself inside and sleep until it passed. The third day weak and drained, resting if he could afford it, or returning to work if broke. His relapses had always been that regular. Yet one bowl of medicine, and he already felt fine, like healed? "Am I cured?" he asked hopefully. Mental disorders were said incurable, but if anyone could perform a miracle, it was her. "No. It's only suppressed," Van Sam dashed his hope. He didn't know whether to feel disappointed or relieved, emotions tangled. But soon he composed himself, suppression was still far better than nothing. Maybe one day she'd find a true cure. Then she added, "For your condition, you'll need 7 to 10 days of doses." 7 to 10 days, and I'll be fully cured? "Yes," she nodded. "Your case is mild." Excitement flooded him. Those with mental disorders had to register their illness. His was mild, just minor restrictions, but severe cases were heavily controlled. The stronger the ability, the tighter the leash. Though his post hadn't been affected yet, he lived in fear. What if it worsened? What if he lost control longer? What if he hurt someone? Ever since diagnosis, he'd carried the weight silently. Now, hearing there might be full recovery, he could finally breathe. Meanwhile, the panther, tired of waiting to be fed its medicine, started licking the bowl by itself, lap, 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 struggling to drink. Seeing this, Niam Thursday rushed to help, gently feeding it. The dark brown liquid slid down its throat, the panther instantly relaxed, pain fading. 3 doses daily, morning, noon, night, 3 days and it'll recover, Van Sam said. It's been eating poorly, getting thin, Niam Thursday added. Any way to boost its appetite? Van Sam opened a wooden box filled with beef cubes, dried pork, sausages, and strips of dried chicken and duck. The panther's eyes lit up at the scent of meat, tail twitching. Try these, she said, feeding a piece. The beef cubes were rich and savory, the dried pork fragrant and tender, the sausage fine and flavorful, the chicken and duck crisp and satisfying. Before long, the panther was mindlessly chewing and swallowing whatever she offered. Niam Thursday stared in awe. Even when healthy, even before him, it had never been so docile. What magical treats were these? Cut these small and mix them with its regular meals. It'll eat more, Van Sam said, scooping handfuls of each into a bag. The panther's eyes followed every move, unblinking, drool pooling beneath its chin. Remember to come daily for medicine, she added, handing him the bag. Understood, Niam Thursday said, throat dry, licking his lips before asking his biggest concern, Doctor, how much is the fee? Logically, curing both him and his pet deserved high payment, but his finances were tight. Maybe she allowed installments? The treatment cost is covered by Red Peak Clinic. The herbs are theirs too. If there's nothing else, you may leave after the checkup, Van Sam replied with a smile. Niam Thursday was stunned. He thought the captain sent him here because of annoyance over his leaves. Never imagined the doctor was so skilled and treated him for free. At that moment, he realized he had completely misunderstood his superior. No patrol tomorrow, take the battle pet to the designated place for examination. The captain ordered. Hang Dinu replied, no need to trouble anyone, after it fell alive run through every clinic in the base and saw all the doctors, none could diagnose what my battle pet has. The captain's face turned cold, I tell you to go, you go, stop the chatter. Hang Dinu stalled, yes. Following the address the captain gave, before long he reached the place, looked up at the bamboo fence and walls stretching beyond a single glance, and muttered, truly someone who knows how to do business. On his left shoulder, a tricolored squirrel of 1 star lay obediently. Hearing that, it gently nuzzled its master's cheek. Its back and tail were dark brown with a white stripe along the spine, the forebody tawny, the belly white, gaudy yet delicate at a look. Hang Dinu's heart softened, his tone slowed, fine, since we're here, let's go in and see. Perhaps it can be cured. After identity check, he was led to a doctor. No sooner had he stepped into the bamboo house than a man was complaining, the wildcat is too picky, it eats meat but insists on high-essence monster meat. Doctor, you know monsters in general eat a lot, ordinary households feed grains, mix in some meat, that's enough to fill them, and the food bill isn't too high. But the one I raise will not touch grains at all, make porridge with meat and it picks out every bit of meat to eat separately, no meat then it would rather starve than open its mouth. I truly have no way out, if I don't buy high-essence monster meat I fear it will starve to death within a couple of days, but buying every day, my thin purse really cannot take it. Van Sam fell silent, tilted her head to Dr. Ha and asked sincerely, why come to a doctor for this kind of thing? Dr. Ha coughed lightly and murmured, some powerful battle pet hospitals set up specialized departments with fine categories of treatment, but most pet hospitals do not. By the logic of human medicine, as long as keepers encounter problems during raising, they likely come to ask for help. Fair enough, Van Sam sighed. Could it be even Dr. Van has no solution? The owner, Lam Chiuso, a big man, had eyes full of despair. Van Sam said, if it can pick meat out of porridge, cut the meat into tiny cubes so it cannot pick it out, problem solved. Lam Chiuso was speechless, the wildcat was speechless, Dr. Ha was speechless, so that works. Does it truly not eat grains, or does it just dislike the previous food? While speaking, Van Sam took a cornbread from her bag, tore a small piece and held it to the wildcat's mouth, try a bite. The cornbread was handmade by her, and she herself fed it. The wildcat originally had no interest, but seeing Van Sam and hearing her gentle coaxing, it seemed bewitched and parted its lips, chewed twice, then swallowed, with no rejection at all. Lam Chiu so gaped. Good child. Hugging the wildcat, she tore another small piece and smiled, here, another bite. The wildcat opened its mouth obediently and cooperated extremely well. Lam Chiu so at a loss. This is absolutely not my child. He stared as she finished feeding the whole handful of cornbread and then gave a few beef cubes as a reward. See, very good, eating quite well. She brushed the wildcat's coat while glancing up. The wildcat narrowed its eyes in comfort. Yes, I am super good, super obedient, super excellent. Lam Chiu so, do not ask. If you ask, it is to spare. At home it is insanely picky, out the door it recovers instantly. Van Sam said, perhaps the current feeding tastes too similar. The battle pet has grown weary and won't eat. He said, it is not pre-made feed, every meal I cook for it myself. She thought a moment, took another cornbread and handed it to him. Use this and try feeding. He imitated her exactly, broke a tiny strip and offered it. For some reason the wildcat looked at its owner with utter disdain. Clearly it was the same cornbread she made, yet when the owner tried to feed it, it refused to open its mouth. She thought, what on earth did you feed before, hog slop? Perhaps, this child looks traumatized. Don't like it? He grew uneasy. The wildcat stared at him a long while, finally forced itself to open and take the strip, but its demeanor was cautious, nibbling ultra slowly as if testing for poison, and only after several more chews, certain nothing was wrong, did it swallow. Great, it ate, he exclaimed in joy. Watching for a bit, she basically understood. From now on stop cooking yourself, buy proper battle pet feed. He glanced at her bag, wanting to speak but holding back. She took the hint, first pulling out 6 cornbreads, then a pile of snacks, beef cubes, dried pork, and the like, packed them into a bag. Take these to feed it, and remember to visit pet hospitals or pet supply stores to shop around. Switch to a kibble it likes. If one shop fails, try another. Thank you, truly thank you. He could not stop thanking. The wildcat showed a trace of relief on its face, even rubbed its cheek against the back of her hand in gratitude. She thought, these two are not having an easy time. After sending him off, Hang Danu entered and went straight to the point. My battle pet keeps conveying to me that its body feels unwell, sometimes even inexplicably injured. But when I take it to the battle pet hospital, doctors find no issue, they only treat the injuries. Do you know what this is? Come, let me see. She beckoned to the tri-colored squirrel. It glanced at its master, then darted over into her palm. She kneaded its tiny paws, stroked its little belly, brushed its little tail, thinking how adorable. Hang Danu frowned. What are you doing? She said solemnly, giving it a self-conducted checkup. Why did he feel she was taking the chance to cuddle his pet? He stared as if
NK
facing a
Books.
ruffian ready to strike the poor, innocent, endearing squirrel, yet she calmly finished her work and said, it is not sick, it is leveling up, because the accumulated energy is insufficient, it has failed to advance many times, which burdens the body. He froze. He had taken it to many doctors, and this was the first time someone stated the cause clearly. If it is leveling up, why did the pet not tell me the reason? She reminded vaguely, adult, 1 star, that is a low-tier monster. He understood, the higher the monster's tier, the higher the intellect. One that only reaches 1 star at adulthood like this tri-colored squirrel has little potential, so describing its condition clearly is normal to fail. It rushed for 2 stars and failed, hence hurt itself. He adjusted his thoughts. When I brought it to the hospital, the advancement bout had passed, so doctors could not detect a problem. That is correct. She nodded. He blurted, then how did you know? She only smiled. Dr. Ha explained, you may not know this, Dr. Van raises many monsters and has rich experience with battle pets successfully leveling. You came to the right person. With that, all made sense. His face sobered and he asked earnestly, what should I do next? Please teach me. She took out a vial. A monster-specific advancement medicine nurturing essence pill, contains abundant energy, can purge bodily impurities, and helps a monster advance smoothly. As she spoke, her heart bled a little. The pill requires more than a dozen herbs to refine, among them 2 ripen only once every half year, and 1 ripens only once a year. When she sold the high-grade formula of the prime violet grass salve, she and Director Man had an understanding to grant her, personally, a Hong Kong clinic privilege of unlimited herb purchases, yet unlimited purchases cannot withstand a household with too many monsters, demand too large, stocks go short, even Director Man has no solution. She had planned to wait for the next crop to ripen and then refine more, staying ahead of the monster core's leveling pace. Later she learned by chance the base maintains strategic reserves, so she set her sights on the stock and agreed to treat the patrol team. After all, in the apocalypse, even a warehouse with strategic reserves would not hold much. The materials all refined into pills for her own beast still felt insufficient, and she must split off a portion to help patients. She felt life was too hard. Taking the medicine, Hang Danu asked, how to use it. 1 pill a day, keep feeding until the advancement succeeds, she said. There are 10 pills here, enough for it to advance. While speaking she cuddled the squirrel as if determined to recoup some cost. The tricolored squirrel thought, I can feel the dense love, and lay there obediently, not resisting, even trilling in comfort. He was at a loss. Thank you, doctor. He signaled quietly for the pet to return, who knew the squirrel would not budge, sending back a tangle of emotions as if struggling fiercely inside. Then after a while it reluctantly stood up and scurried back to his left shoulder. She deftly packed cornbread and meaty snacks into a bag. Take them, feed it, they are good for the body. The squirrel's eyes flashed, pupils full of longing. He suspected that if he lingered any longer, the pet would recover and still refuse to leave. Goodbye, doctor. He took the bag, pressed his right hand lightly on the pet, and hastened out as if a ghost chased behind. After he left, she sighed repeatedly, silky fur, what a perfect feel. Dr. Ha pursed his lips and smiled, Doctor, you were so clever, preparing food in advance and using the first bite to draw the battle pet close. She said, there is nothing a beef cube cannot solve. If there is, throw in dried pork, if still not, go with ham, dried chicken, dried duck. Lesson learned. Seeing the hour grow late, Dr. Ha rose to take his leave. Dr. Van, today's treatment is done, I will go first. Hold on, she called him back, a bit puzzled. Are you not running a pet hospital in Chaolang? Why are you willing to come help here? To study at Dr. Van's side and broaden my exposure to all kinds of cases is both my luck and my chance, he said earnestly. Then his smile deepened. My lady boss in Chaolang knows I am here to help, she approves, and even encourages me to learn more. If you worry about the pet hospital, Dr. Luong has joined and will take my shifts. If anything comes up, the lady boss will inform me on the dot. Van Sam felt relieved. If you all have discussed it clearly, then I have nothing more to add. Tun Li Han, 3-star, had long suffered the bad habit of insomnia. On the day she finished the patrol team's shift, the captain stopped her. Tomorrow it's your turn to take your battle pet to see the doctor. Yes, sir. Just as Tun Li Han received the new assignment, she answered loudly. The captain delivered the order and walked off. Turning around, she caught her colleague looking at her with sympathy. When you're there, keep a close eye on your 2-star silver wolf, careful it doesn't get kidnapped. Tun Li Han froze, a battle pet under contract, how could it be kidnapped? Seeing her disbelief, the colleague's gaze grew hazy and meaningful. Not kidding, go once and you'll understand. She recalled the patrol members had been taking turns bringing their pets for treatment for 2 days. This very colleague took his pet yesterday and came back looking off, as if struck by some blow. Her first reaction, is it dangerous? Then she thought again and felt it couldn't be. The place assigned by the captain shouldn't have safety problems. The colleague's expression turned complex. He opened his mouth, wanted to speak, and finally closed his eyes in resignation. Before you go, it's hard to explain. Anyway, go and you'll see. The odd warning piqued Tun Li Han's curiosity. The next day she led the Grey Wolf and arrived on time. After identity checks, a staffer brought her to a bamboo lodge. Before entering, she heard a voice full of apology. My battle pet has a fiery temper and is no good at getting along with other beasts. If it accidentally injures your beloved pet later, let me apologize in advance. The child is immature, please forgive it. Van Sam answered politely, though the pet is 4-star, it's still in the adolescent phase and its nature isn't fixed. I suggested it spend more time with other beasts to build social skills. I know you mean well, but its temper is truly bad. Thinking it might hurt your pet makes me anxious. It's fine. Van Sam smiled easily. Beasts at play scuffle now and then, that's normal. Later whatever happens, no one should take it to heart. It's wonderful that you understand. Words barely fell when a young leopard, slung with trash and dirt, tail tucked, ran in and dove into its owner's arms without a word, aggrieved and begging a hug. The owner was dumbfounded. Behind it more than a dozen sturdy 3-star wolfhounds chased up, glaring at the 4-star leopard like they were ready to gang up. A few white civet cubs milled at the door, chittering to file complaints. The white tiger cub borrowed the pack's bodies to block line of sight, pretending nothing happened, showing it hadn't joined the brawl. What's this? Owner Fwang Enki tongue flustered. His pet had caused trouble by fighting others' pets, a real headache. His mind went blank. Van Sam smiled kindly. The leopard was strolling the yard, saw the civet cubs, and eagerly pounced to play. The wolfhounds saw and decided to play in the cubs' stead. They're all minors, let them be, the adults best not intervene. Fwang Enki tongue fell silent. A careful check showed that though dusty, the injuries weren't serious, mostly scrapes like from rolling on the ground, not bites or gouges. He hesitated. Van Sam signaled to keep playing. Thus the leopard was surrounded and tugged away by wolfhounds and civets. Before parting, it looked back at its owner, eyes full of shock and grievance. Nothing bad will happen, right? Fwang worried. It's fine, we're teaching it proper manners to live with other beasts in the base. When owners dote too much and spoil a pet's temperament, others must help discipline. It's my fault for coddling it, Fwang sighed. Back when it was a cub it saved me and almost died. I truly can't bear to be harsh. In truth, he was only 2-star, weak in battle. Contracting with a 4-star leopard was like smoke rising from ancestral graves. Grateful, he rarely imposed rules. In the coming days, bring it here often so it gets used to group life, Van Sam said. Fwang didn't want to force his pet, yet also didn't want to trouble the residents. A 4-star leopard that teases others' pets and picks fights would embarrass everyone. Thinking so, he steeled himself. I'll trouble Dr. Van then. A small matter, you're too polite. The 2-star silver wolf had watched the whole scene and shivered unconsciously. Tun Li Han thought this doctor's treatment methods were indeed unusual. No wonder her colleague warned her, though not in the way she feared. When it was her turn, she said, I'm Tun Li Han, chronic insomnia, then introduced the silver wolf. This is my pet, with the bad habit of wanting to eat without appetite. Also its sleep quality is poor, always light and easily awakened. Van Sam asked about its diet. She replied, I'm busy and have no time to cook, so I feed Battle Pet kibble from the pet shop. It used to eat heartily, now, the portion's down by about a third. Have you tried switching brands? I have, but the alternatives are worse, not as good as the current one. Come here and let me see. Van Sam beckoned. The silver wolf, seeing no objection from its owner, patted over. After a careful exam, Van Sam concluded, it's getting old, bodies naturally age, so from now on feed softer foods, let it rest more, drink plenty of water, and mind general care. Getting old? Tun Li Han looked at her pet, slightly dazed. After the apocalypse, beasts generally lived longer. The higher the rank, the longer the span. The silver wolf was only 2-star and had already lived many years, likely entering its senior phase. Its build remained strong and its movements quick, so she hadn't noticed. So, it's not sick? No, just aged, needs quiet recuperation. Good, she felt relieved and asked, what about me, can the insomnia be cured? There's a calming broth in the kitchen, drink a bowl. When you leave, I'll give you a sachet to wear during sleep, it'll help improve it. Okay, she stood to fetch the medicine. Glancing at the silver wolf, she hesitated whether to take it along. Just then Van Sam said, I prepared some snacks, I'll try feeding it. If it likes them, the more it eats the better. Hearing that, Tun Li Han agreed and thanked her. Her colleague's muddled warning still made little sense. Sometimes she suspected he made it up to spook her. Second, it was only a quick bowl of broth. Third, the doctor was captain recommended and several teammates had visited already, trustworthy by any measure, so she left at ease, unaware of the trial awaiting her pet. A servant led her to the kitchen and ladled a bowl of calming broth prepared early. She drank it down, felt her whole body relax, and drowsiness creep in. She yawned, eyelids heavy. The servant suggested kindly, if so, you can nap here. She truly hadn't slept well in a long time. She meant to refuse, I can't, my pet is waiting. But the servant said, it's fine, the doctor is watching, and since every cell begged for sleep, she leaned on the wall and dozed. A blink later, half an hour had slipped by. She woke brimming with energy and a clearer mind. Still groggy, she rubbed her eyes. Where am I? How did I fall asleep? Remembering she was here for her pet, the silver wolf still waiting, she sprang up and hurried back. Halfway she met the 4-star leopard trudging home, face full of weariness. Several civet cubs chittered, proudly standing on its brow and back. The leopard lay still like a useless wreck. The wolfhounds frolicked with their brothers and didn't bully the outsider too much. Reassured, she went on, But entering the lodge she was stunned. The black panther, the tricolored squirrel, and the silver wolf were circling the doctor. Whenever the doctor produced a cube of beef or a strip of dried pork, they scrambled to snatch it. Tunlihan looked at her pet and wanted to seize its shoulders and shake it. "Wake up, you have poor appetite." Yet after a moment's observation she found the wolf ruthlessly competitive, with no trace of listless eating. She was speechless. To win more turns at first bite, the pets even unlocked new tricks. The tricolored squirrel hopped to Van Sam's shoulder to nuzzle her cheek, occasionally using its paw to help smooth her hair. The black panther stepped in to touch foreheads. The silver wolf, not good at acting cute, sped up into faster runs and performed somersaults. The owner's feelings were complicated. Hang Danu, the squirrel's owner, said sadly, "Mine fears strangers and would only ever cling to my shoulder." Such an early display had never happened. Niam Thursday, the panther's owner, sighed, "I've never once touched foreheads with it." While Tunlihan realized for the first time that raising a silver wolf could involve somersaults, the owners glanced at one another, a surge of crisis rising. Meanwhile the pets lifted their chins, eyes sparkling as they awaited the doctor's choice, a scene like 3,000 palace beauties awaiting imperial favor. In that moment Tunlihan finally understood her colleagues' hesitant warning. Compared to their contracted owners, the pets were closer to the doctor they just met. Without personal experience, who would believe it, she waved at the silver wolf to return, but it was addicted to the grand harem drama, or rather, drooling over the beef cubes, dried pork, and sausage, so it ignored her. Helpless, she looked to the two comrades in misery. "Are your pets sick too?" Hang Danu turned away. "They were sick and got cured." Tun was baffled. "Cured? So why come back?" Niam Thursday looked mournful. After the last visit Dr. Van gave snacks. 2 days of eating turned into a habit. Their palates were spoiled. Now they can't turn back. Tunlihan fell silent, the sense of crisis worsening. She wanted to scoop her pet and bolt. The owners waited and waited, yet the doctor never stopped teasing the fluffballs. Hang Danu's lips twitched as he hinted politely, "We've troubled you long enough and might hinder your next appointments," meaning, "Please hand over the snacks so we can withdraw." Before he finished, Van Sam said breezily, "No trouble." A whole heap of fluff healed was a joy. Without this welfare, she might have hesitated to take the job. Hang Danu swallowed his unsaid words and nearly choked. He sought his pet buttering up the doctor and grew frantic. Niam Thursday, though his status as owner wobbled, stayed pragmatic and offered, "Dr. Van, have you considered opening a shop to sell battle pet feed, or at least posting orders in the trading market?" He imagined winning the purchase, feeding first, and pictured a bright future. If he too could touch foreheads like the doctor, his heart raced in breath quickened. Van Sam replied, "I'm busy these days. Later, if there's a chance, I'll consider it." Seeing the owners about to lunge in to snatch their pets back, she finally stopped teasing. By habit she took out bags, each filled with corn cakes and meat snacks, and handed them over. "If it's not enough, come back for more." Hang Danu muttered thanks while secretly vowing to put his pet on a diet. With feet in hand, the owners departed like the wind. Even Tunlihan did, mouth full of thanks. Much obliged, yet turning to run faster than anyone. Watching them flee, Van Sam murmured, "How outrageous, running so fast. Will I even see them later?" Only Phuong Engi and Tung, witness to the whole affair, failed to escape and wipe sweat. Perhaps they had urgent business. Certainly not because they feared their pets would be seduced by snacks. Certainly not. In a few short days this had become routine. Dr. Ha's lips curled. "It's because Dr. Van is too charming, too beloved by pets, that everyone panics," Van Sam said righteously. "Contact is only to treat and soothe better, everything for the pet's health. Smoothing fur was merely incidental." Phuong thought, "Said like that, even I don't believe it." Toward dusk, the delinquent leopard dragged its tired body home, face full of fatigue. Phuong worried, "You okay? Is it bad?" The leopard raged, "You dare ask, why bring me there, and after arriving why abandon me?" It wanted to leap on its owner as usual to vent, but remembering something it stiffened, then refrained, only swishing its tail and giving a gentle swat. Phuong was astonished. His pet's bad temper was no modesty, and sometimes it struck its owner without mercy. Who knew that after one day at the manor and a single course of treatment it would markedly improve, restrain itself, show concern, and strike with measure? He consoled his old heart. "Dr. Van is a miracle healer of our time." The leopard stayed silent. "She bullied your pet and you praise her, how unsuitable." Meanwhile at the manor, having not seen Luke Min for many days, Van Sam couldn't help asking Luke, "Where is he? Still busy?" Luke nodded. "Too much backlogged work. He has to rush a while." Van Sam drew out the sound, eyes hazy. "If there's anything, tell me, and I'll pass it on." Luke offered, No need, I was just casually asking, Luke thought, mentioning him 2, 3, even 4 times a day counts as casual. Hard to tell what the healer is thinking. In short, if you need anything, just instruct me, I'll see it done. She answered and dismissed him, heart more entangled. If Luke Min were here, she wouldn't know what to say and would feel awkward. If he wasn't, she kept recalling their last meeting, wondering if she had gone too far, a thread of guilt rising. Will we perhaps never meet again? Before she could sort it out, her online time for the day hit its cap and the system kicked her off. At twilight, back home, Hang Danu carried a bag into the kitchen to cook. The tricolored squirrel perched on his shoulder and let out a weak squeak. He paused, gave it a cube of beef, and warned, not many snacks, eat sparingly. The squirrel gazed pitifully and hugged its skinny self. What now, hurting again? He asked with concern. The squirrel raised its face, round eyes misty. Hang Danu's hand slipped into the bag again, handing over several pieces of dried chicken and duck. The squirrel gnawed the jerky and finally settled enough for him to cook. He tore open a corn cake, chopped the snacks into meat dice, and mixed them in. As he worked, he thought he might be falling for his pet's acting again. In truth, the doctor had given plenty of feed, and eaten with restraint and mixed in it would last several meals. But he couldn't withstand the little thief's tactics. Back home it would sell misery, as if one bite less of snacks meant pain to death. Sometimes he suspected the snacks had intelligence-boosting effects. How else could a once well-behaved one-star turn so scheming just for a morsel? Yet knowing he was being played, could he harden his heart to refuse? He could not. Thus the feed vanished fast, and in 2 days he'd be back at the manor to ask for more. What a tragic comedy. Be good, 1 or 2 pieces each meal, nutritious and healthy, he half coaxed, half persuaded. The squirrel had its own view. Going out to act cute and earning a whole bag was a highly profitable trade worth doing long-term. If the owner didn't agree, then it would support the family. It would work hard and soon let the owner live a life where snacks are free to eat. The next morning Van Sam logged in early and began prep. First she measured ingredients and simmered calming broth, then she left someone to mind the fire and went to the kitchen to make snacks. Thinking corn cakes get cloying if eaten often, she switched to rice balls, adding meat and vegetables. In one breath she made more than 50 portions when a servant reported a visitor. She asked without looking up, "Director Man of Red Wind Clinic, bring her to the parlor." Others might not get to see her, but Director Man would, if convenient. They could also chat about compensation. After finishing around 60 rice balls and a quick tidy, she went to meet Director, coming without notice. "What's the matter?" Director Man gave her a helpless look. "Take a look at these," and produced a stack of letters. Van Sam, puzzled, opened the top one. "My cat says the neighbor's dog is sick and gets especially tasty food, so it declares itself sick too." Van Sam was speechless. Self-declaring illness was a thing now. She opened the second. "My iron ox is diligent and steadfast, never doing wrong, but lately it smells the aroma from next door and plans to sneak into private homes at night. I can barely hold it back. Save me. I kneel and beg you to sell Battle Pet feed publicly. I'll pay out of pocket to buy for my pet." The third, "Poor appetite and listless eating are common faults among battle pets. We sincerely hope you'll sell new feed publicly to bless the residents." The fourth, fifth, sixth, all similar pleas. Only then did Director Man say, "Quite a few battle pets have low-grade anorexia. If a new feed can solve it, owners will be relieved." Van Sam didn't answer immediately, only said, "I'll consider it. If you plan to open a shop, the base can offer conveniences including rent reductions, tax breaks, and staff support. Once the feed is made, the patrol team will purchase regularly at fair prices." After that she changed the topic. "We hear the healer needs medicinal materials, so the Lord has decided to expand the herb fields to plant specifically for you. There are also a dozen plus newly awakened talents who can accelerate plant ripening. They have been assigned to the gardens, and we believe in not too long we'll harvest the currently scarce herbs." Hearing this, a thought flashed through Van Sam's mind. Luke Min had been busy. Could he be rushing all these things? "What are you troubled about?" Seeing Van Sam frown in thought, Director Man could not help asking. Van Sam lifted her eyes and said slowly, "Too much trouble." "What?" Director Man was startled. Van Sam repeated, "Opening a shop to do business is too troublesome. Make the goods well and throw them on the trade market. Whoever wants them can buy directly." That suits her consistent style. Director Man was speechless for a long moment. She had never thought Van Sam's dilemma was because of this. What about making battle pet rations and listing them on the trade market? She followed Van Sam's idea to suggest, "I cannot make too many alone." Pausing slightly, Van Sam smiled. "If all new items hang on the trade market, the person in charge will cry." "Director Man, so you do know. Do you have a plan now?" she asked. Van Sam pondered for a moment, then suddenly said, "Sell you the formulas. Do you want them?" Director Man was amazed. Are you serious? Serious. Van Sam indicated fishbone balls, beef cubes, dried pork jerky, sausages, dried chicken and duck, tranquil mind soup, wearable sachets that aid sleep, bath packs to nourish the heart and calm the spirit. I can give you all the formulas. The conditions are that they must be sold through a government side store, and I want 50% of net profit as a revenue share, transferred automatically at the start of each month. Director Manna's face grew solemn. Do you know what you are saying? I do. I know very clearly the value of these formulas, and I also know that if I open my own store, many will stare and turn green with envy. Van Sam's tone was cool, as if speaking of something ordinary. Submit to the base, collect royalties each month. It is both less work and safer. This is the apocalypse, when the benefits are large enough, even a so-called non-player power might not resist taking action, but handing the formulas to the base is different. It diverts the flood downstream and greatly lowers her presence. Though some small trouble may still follow, at least 80% will be blocked. Your willingness to say this could not be better. Suppressing her excitement, Director Man asked calmly, besides the 50% net profit, what else do you want? One moment. Van Sam listed an inventory: flour, rice, corn, sorghum, potatoes ready to harvest, also tranquil mind herb, red cloud fungus, needle grass and other herbs, all in very large quantities. In addition, she required removing the outer bamboo fencing of the manor, converting it to stone walls, and strengthening the guards, and furthermore an additional 50,000 points. Director Man flipped through the list, her expression complicated. You plan to build a shelter? Solid defensive works like stone walls, provisions enough for several years in grain and medicine, and formidable force in the Beast Legion. This clearly shows she foresees disaster soon and wants to establish a refuge in advance. Has something happened? Director Man tensed up. She had heard that when the rat plague broke out, the earliest discoverer was also Van Sam. No, Van Sam denied it. This is just a personal preference. A divine physician who prefers to live in a shelter? Director Manna's expression was strange. Van Sam said blandly, it is the end times anyway, better to prepare than to suffer later. The reason was forced, yet barely passable. Director Man did not pursue. Instead she moved into details. There is a grain warehouse, but generally we do not sell outward. It is reserved for relief during special periods. No need to touch the warehouse. Van Sam said, is there not a government grain system, if I remember correctly, called Red Wind Grain Store? Just take from there. Director Man, the stock is not that much. Van Sam did not believe it. The base is like spring all year, 4 harvests in a year, late 9th month just reaped. Right now stores should be plentiful. Director Man patiently explained, the grain store is like the clinic. Each quarter it sends a fixed portion as strategic supplies back to the warehouse, normally not to be drawn. The remainder is sold, with marketing set by circumstance. The portion sent back is only a part. Besides trade we must sell to residents inside the base. We cannot empty the shelves and close until the next harvest. All right then. In an apocalyptic setting, having points yet nowhere to buy is plausible. Van Sam understood and yielded. After repeated discussion they decided to greatly cut the grain quantities, markedly increase the points, and leave the herbs basically unchanged. Looking at the final version of 100,000 points, Van Sam felt helpless. She had planned to save herself a step, but still had to take the points and figure it out. Fortunately the herbs were acquired smoothly and the stone wall would soon rise, so the main goal was reached. With terms settled, Van Sam swiftly wrote down the formulas from dictation and handed them to Director Man. Director Man carefully flipped through and was a bit surprised. When seasoning beef, pork, chicken, duck, you add a special medicinal pouch to simmer with it. Is this medicinal cuisine? Yes. Van Sam nodded. That is why the snacks have calming effects and are loved by battle pets. Medicinals boiled with food, medicinal cuisine, food therapy. This direction seemed not yet carefully studied. If truly effective, perhaps illnesses deemed untreatable today could be cured in the future. Even if not, at least there would be more therapeutic methods. Director Man looked hard at Van Sam, her face solemn. Thank you for your contribution to the base. Your requests I will satisfy quickly. Good. Leaving the manor some distance, Director Man looked back, suspicion and deep thought in her eyes. In the early hours of the first day of the first month of the year 2200, the apocalyptic cataclysm began. Whether animals, plants, or humans, all underwent mutation to varying degrees. People fled everywhere, and a single loaf of bread could be more precious than a life. To fill their stomachs, people stole, robbed, and killed. doing anything just to survive, recalling those dark years. A strong discomfort rose in Director Manna's heart. In the 7th month of the year 2204, the Red Wind Base was established. On the first day of the first month of the year 2205, the Lord summoned travelers from another world to help build. Life is getting better now, so why can I still not forget that nightmare? She reminded herself. Yet she could not deny that while speaking with Van Sam, she faintly felt a hunch, as if a similar disaster would befall again before long. Emotions surged and a bad omen lingered. After a while she sighed softly. Forget it. Whatever we discover should be reported truthfully, and how to respond will be decided by the Lord. With the formulas in hand, Director Mann immediately assigned personnel to run trials. Soon she perceived that others' finished products worked less well than Van Sam's, yet better than those sold on the market. Take Tranquil Mind soup for example. If Van Sam decocted a bowl herself, a patient with mild mental illness could recover in 7 to 10 days, but if another simmered the same formula, it generally took about 12 to 15 days to regain health. The pet snacks were similar. Before Van Sam's own handiwork, the Battle Pet crowd was wildly enthusiastic, whereas for others' products they could only be called fond. Even so, that was enough. Director Mann arranged confidants to study the formulas while discussing improvements with Van Sam many times. On the 25th of October, the Red Wind Pet Supply store opened in splendid fashion. After 7 pills of primordial nourishing elixir, the tricolored squirrel advanced smoothly. Not only were its movements nimbler, its wit also rose markedly. The pity was that its appetite grew as well. Looking at the Battle Pet rations devoured clean in merely 2 days, Hang Danu felt a speechless gloom. He tried to negotiate with his pet. There are so many pet supply stores in the base, how about we switch to another? You try another flavor, maybe it is delicious too. The tricolored squirrel, nonsense, do not fool me. Hang Danu. With advancement the pet's mind broadened, no longer easy to trick, and he was suffering. We cannot always rely on Dr. Van. Hang Danu set out the facts and reasoned. Pets that have undergone treatment all want to eat what she personally makes. Because demand is so large, the manor has new rules forbidding healthy pets from mooching rations. The tricolored squirrel wore an innocent look. It can fake illness, it can act. Hang Danu was struck dumb. Why does all that cleverness appear only in telling lies? You brat, you were not like this before. After much persuasion he finally convinced it, agreeing to visit other pet supply stores to try new food. Yet after spending a day going from shop to shop, whether it was the store's hottest seller or the year's most loved by pets, the tricolored squirrel was unmoved. Because the rations did not suit its taste, it ate only half its former amount each day. Hang Danu was angry, anxious, and helpless. Dr. Van had said clearly that even a landlord's house had no surplus grain, and healthy pets were strictly forbidden to freeload. Even if he turned a blind eye and brought the pet to be petted and coddled, Dr. Van would still refuse to provide rations. While he was nursing a headache, the Red Wind Pet Supply store opened. Pet care formulas personally designed by Battle Pet expert Van Sam. Unique flavors with a distinct profile, beloved by a wide audience of battle pets. Palatability surpassing 99% of peers on the market. Not only can pets eat, owners can also enjoy. Multiple designs to fully satisfy different needs. The slogans boomed and immediately caught Hang Danu's attention. In his mind, a government-side store meant guaranteed quality, and with Dr. Van as designer the products must have distinctive features. Although it was a pity they were not handmade by her, if she made them herself every batch would probably turn pets into gluttons. The ideal scenario was that the taste was excellent, the pet was willing to eat, and it would not go overboard. Thinking so, on opening day he went to shop. He arrived early and after waiting about 10 minutes it was his turn. Upon entering he saw neatly arranged goods on the shelves: adult rations in beef flavor, adult rations in pork flavor, adult rations in chicken flavor. Besides adult rations there were juvenile and senior rations, likewise in 3 flavors of beef, pork, and chicken. In addition to daily rations there were training treats such as fishbone balls, beef cubes, pork jerky, dried chicken, dried duck, and sausages. For herbivores the store also specially launched grass cakes for owners to choose. After mutation the tricolored squirrel had changed taste and now liked meat, so Hang Danu first took 1 bag of each treat, then looked at the adult rations and frowned. Why are these biscuits? The clerk smiled. As biscuits they store well and are convenient to feed. Hang Danu did not move. The clerk added, adult rations in beef flavor are made from flour, beef cubes, and vegetables in a set ratio. They balance nutrition while caring for taste. If you are unsure, you can first buy a trial bag. Hang Danu thought for a moment, picked up 1 bag of adult rations in beef flavor and 1 bag in chicken flavor. and then went to pay. Yin Thursday piled 5 bags of adult rations and 5 bags of snacks before the Black Panther and, mustering courage, declared, all of this is yours." The Black Panther patrolled its territory and circled the food once and again, looking very satisfied. It rubbed the owner's trouser leg and mewed meow meow, clearly meaning food. Yin Thursday felt pleased that buying a full 5 bags of battle pet rations had not been in vain. To win the pet's favor, he did not mash food and rice together but took out a bowl of rice, opened the beef-flavored adult ration, and poured a brimming basin. "Eat," he said, and no sooner had the words fallen than the Black Panther, unable to hold back, bowed its head to eat in big mouthfuls. Seeing this, Yin Thursday was overjoyed and thought that it truly deserved to be a formula designed by Dr. Van herself. Even if not cooked by her hand, it's still one deep favor from Battle Pets. He recalled the ad line palatability surpassing 99% of similar products on the market. Not only can Battle Pets eat it, owners can eat it too, and suddenly grew curious, just how good are these biscuits to make the Black Panther so enamored and unable to control itself. Seizing the moment while the pet was distracted, he quietly took a piece to taste, and he swore he merely wanted a nibble. Yet after one piece his right hand seemed to have a will of its own and reached for a second, then a third, then a fourth. As the panther ate with gusto, it suddenly noticed a hand stealing biscuits from its bowl and stopped, staring at its owner without blinking. Yin Thursday coughed lightly and said righteously, "I figured food left out too long spoils, so better finish it quickly." Looking nothing like the brave soul of minutes before, the panther felt deceived and the whole cat was gravely wounded in spirit. Yin Thursday hurried to remedy it. "When we finish I'll buy you new ones. I will absolutely not let you go hungry." The panther swept its gaze to the dried chicken nearby and said nothing. "Want some?" "Fine, I'll open a pack," said Yin Thursday, and only then did the panther begrudgingly forgive its master. Calculating it out, if both man and panther ate battle pet rations, the food bill would be no small expense, so he must strive to earn money. With a strip of dried chicken between his teeth, he chewed and set his resolve. Tan Li Han poured half a basin of senior rations for her battle pet and loosened them with warm water, then took up the sleep set from Hong Fong Clinic's new release, which included 3 items: a sachet of calming soup mix, a wearable fragrant pouch, and a bath herb bag. After reading the instructions, she filled the wooden tub with hot warm water and put in the bath bag. In a short while the water changed color. Tan Li Han slipped into the tub and soaked with full pleasure. Perhaps it was not an illusion, for after bathing she felt light all over and physically comfortable as never before. After eating and drinking the calming soup, she set the sachet upon her chest and lay flat on the bed, hoping to sleep well tonight. The mild, pleasant medicinal scent kept wafting from the sachet's opening. She yawned, closed her eyes, and unknowingly drifted into a sweet dream, and from lying down to asleep it was not even 3 minutes. In early November, Van Sam received 30,000 points, the net profit share from last month. Hidden dangers resolved smoothly, without adding too much work for myself, and I can even lie down to collect money every month. That is so me. A faint smile touched her face. The current year was 2206, and after a few more months, by February of 2207, Hong Fong base would erupt in a serious incident of mentally ill patients injuring people. In the previous life there were only a rudimentary improved calming soup and a roughly similar sachet, which could not at all stop patients from going mad in groups. Chaos aside, many residents were accidentally injured and thereafter formed a psychological shadow toward the sick. As for Luke Min, the one whose illness was the heaviest and the madness the fiercest, he was feared and hated by residents, relations between the sides extremely tense. Thinking back, Van Sam felt both sides were wronged. To ordinary people, residents with mental illness were indeed like unstable time bombs that might explode at any moment. Before it happens you do not feel it. Once it happens you dread the second and the third. To the sick, they were kept under strict control and usually managed well. That time would happen purely because someone scattered confusion powder, a very rare powder that disorders the mind, and patients with mental illness who inhaled it were directly provoked into frenzy. Though clearly designed by others, after the resolution relations remained rigid and slow to ease. Thereafter Van Sam pored over medical texts and kept improving until she perfected the formulas for calming soup and sachets and even researched and invented soothing incense and medicinal cuisine. This time she prepared in advance and did not believe that with daily calming soup and everyone carrying a sachet such an event would recur next year. Put on a troubled face and secretly guide director man to set things up per my plan. Perfect. The corner of her mouth could not help lifting. Next I will treat the other patients properly and then leave free with points and provisions. However, plans that look fine often meet small snags in practice, such as why on earth are they coming to me for imminent battle pet births? Do they think I can do everything? An owner cautiously asked. Maybe the doctor is not very skilled at it. Van Sam fell silent. In truth she could. With a simple dose for dystocia the birth would go smoothly. Dr. Ha whispered. Obstetrics also falls within the treatment scope. If Dr. Van finds it inconvenient to act, I can help. All right, then take it, thought Van Sam, and said, during pregnancy. The mother needs energy, I will make it some food, and she ducked into the kitchen. The pregnant one was a one-horned beast, fur snow white and a spiral horn on its brow, appearing noble and pure, though just now it wore a dopey expression and seemed not very quick-witted. Fresh red-sugared sampa, crisp outside and soft within, fragrant and sweet, black sesame porridge, thick and aromatic, with crushed peanuts and walnut bits, 1,000-layer meat pastry, flaky and crisp with stuffed savory meat. 2 pieces will fill you. Could this be the of a pregnant mother beast? And in that moment the one-horned beast felt true happiness. It lowered its head and ate heartily, bursting with vigor. Is that enough? If not, I will make you plum blossom bean cakes, asked Van Sam. The one-horn thought, go on. It could still eat. If the meals did not fill it, how would it have the strength to give birth? So Van Sam turned back to the kitchen to make more delicacies. The owner, a bit embarrassed, kept quiet at the side, and seeing the pet awkward with spoon and porridge, he lifted the bowl and fed it spoon by spoon. The red-sugared sampa was gone, the sesame porridge finished, the 1,000-layer pastries swallowed. The one-horned beast licked its lips and obediently waited for the plum blossom cakes. Dr. Ha sensed a fluctuation of energy in the air, looked over, and exclaimed in surprise, the water broke. The one-horned beast is about to give birth, this new era species. Birth like horses, by live birth, and breaking of waters meant delivery was near. The owner checked, saw it was so, and shouted, someone come, it is giving birth. By rights the beast should have lain down, yet it stubbornly sat guarding the kitchen door, clearly meaning let me eat a piece of plum blossom cake first and then I will deliver. The owner was speechless, and Dr. Ha too. Helpers arrived at the manor, and from that day onward Dr. Ha felt a grand new world opening before her, both academically and in terms of pet personality. Ancestor, the owner nearly went crazy. Can you eat after giving birth? The one-horn looked sorely displeased. If it was not full, how would it have the strength to bear? The owner looked at the pet and felt a headache. At the crucial moment Van Sam spoke. The plum blossom cakes are warming on the stove, eat them after the birth. Unable to win against Van Sam, the one-horned could only aggrieve itself and deliver. Throughout the process it kept its gaze on Van Sam as if drawing power from her. Could you pet it? Maybe give it a hug, the owner asked. Though Van Sam had not intended to act during the delivery, she was forced and reluctantly reached out to smooth the fur along its neck. In an instant the one-horn seemed blessed with mysterious strength and delivered 4 cubs in one go. Dr. Ha glanced and was astonished. 4 cubs, among them 3 3-star and 1 2-star. Congratulations. Typically a 3-star one-horned beast birthed mostly 2-star offspring. Yet this time it ran counter to expectation, perhaps because energy had been replenished properly before labor. Dr. Ha fell into thought. So good, so good. The owner rejoiced speechlessly. The one-horn lifted itself with stubborn grit and gently tugged Van Sam's sleeve. I will bring you the plum blossom cakes, said Van Sam, and the one-horned obediently released its mouth, eyes full of expectation. In the latter part of October the wolfhounds reached adulthood one after another, their bodies more stalwart and mighty. Some magical beasts had long chosen mates and married as soon as they came of age, freely pairing. Others, seeing the sweetness of others' love, stood along posts and fences, laid their heads on the wall to peer out and felt themselves the cutest under heaven. 2 of them could not repress their inner excitement and howled a couple of times to practice vocalization, which directly led neighbors moving out efficiency to spike. Some households originally compelled resolved to live and die with their bamboo houses, yet after several days of wolf howls they moved out of the East District overnight and vanished without a trace. Extra meat tonight, thought Van Sam. Points were secured and relationships smooth. To take over the whole East District now only awaited the remaining households to voluntarily move. On the 10th of November many system characters surged into the manor, tore out the old bamboo fences, and rebuilt stone walls. As Van Sam watched the walls rise day by day there was still no sign of Luke Min. Sometimes she deliberately waited until night and still did not see him. She grabbed Luke and changed her line of questioning. Did the Lord have an episode today? Episode equaled needing pacification and pacification equaled a meeting. Clever indeed. No, a rare smile flickered in Luke's eyes. The medicine you provided works very well. The Lord's spirit is much improved of late, and the lucid periods are clearly longer. Van Sam fell silent. So the reason she could not see him was that her medical skill was too good. She herself did not know what she really wanted. If they met she would not know what to say. If they did not she missed him. As long as all is well, she ended the daily question. Watching the divine doctor's receding figure, Luke thought that if they met now, the person likely would not be frightened away. After pondering a moment, she decided that for safety's sake they should wait a bit longer. Forge chat, retirement gamer, my battle pet cooks like a master, guild leader is awesome. Voice crack, excited, bought 10 bags of snacks, fed it daily, finally gained favor of a 3-star demon beast and formed a pact, guild leader is awesome. Kneeling, bought a sleep outfit, used it in-game and slept 4 hours, woke up refreshed and sharp, guild leader is awesome. Truth in my hands, I've realized no matter what she sells, Yun Shan can make it dazzling and booming. What does that mean? It means she's destined for greatness. Guild leader is awesome. Waves flag, today Yun Shan hit her stream time limit, logged off, and while checking chat history, she replied playfully, even if you praise me like that, I won't pay you. Rejecting paid comments starts with me. A cold face emoji followed. Of course, her viewers knew she wasn't talking to paid commenters, but it didn't stop their jokes. After Yun Shan spoke, many echoed, rejecting paid comments starts with me. Just as it was turning into spam, loyal fan Gao Lang waved his hand, his red packet command blazed across the screen. Battle pet cooks like a master, guild leader is awesome. Anyone who wanted a red packet had to type that phrase first, so the whole chat burst into a chorus of the slogan. Yun Shan, it proved once again, money truly rules all. After the laughter, someone brought up serious talk. Guild leader, selling so many formulas, must have earned tons, standing beside big spenders now? Yun Shan didn't hide it, I invested my skills, and get monthly profit sharing. Partnering with NPCs? You trust them, someone exclaimed. A few others warned, careful, guild leader. NPCs in Doomsday Base aren't like other games, they really can backstab you. Don't ask how I know, cries.jpg. Even if the shop's booming, sales volume's high, but who knows if profits are real? Fake ledgers, random reports, who can tell? Too risky, monthly cuts are worse than buying them out. Guild leaders usually steady, how come now such a big deal shouldn't be decided alone, maybe discuss with us? Reading the chat, Yun Shan smiled, thanks for the concern, but I know what I'm doing. It's the apocalypse setting. I'm not naive enough to trust NPC promises completely. If they cheat, I'll make them spit it back out. The chat fell silent, then one by one people typed, I forgot how fierce our guild leader is, whoever harms her never ends well. Here I am, a broke worker, worrying if the guild leader's making less money, how arrogant of me, wake up slap.jpg. Curious though, if an NPC breaks a deal, what will you do? Yun Shan, nothing much, just lock the city lord in a dark room and take his throne. Villagers stare. She's joking, right? As expected of you, such bold words, thumbs up.jpg. Retirement gamer, if it were me, I wouldn't dare boast that big. Guild leader's awesome. Everyone laughed, they took it as a joke. Yun Shan thought, who says I'm joking? For someone like her, always prepared, the only thing missing from seizing power was a trigger. Word spread that Yun Shan earned a fortune selling recipes, and sponsors swarmed. Big Boss Take Me Flying, by Shanghua. You got points? 1 point equals $70, I'll buy under 50,000. Party King, Kang Jiang buying points, any amount, quote your price, I'll wire it. Rich Rogue, Han Jia Kong Yo? I've got money, you got points? Scholar, Xia Xiaoting, how many points you got? I'll take them all, name your price. Besides familiar names, a few strangers messaged her too. Yun Shan drafted a single reply for all, trade only, no cash. Points for food exchange rate listed below. Some lacked food stock and had to back out. One sent question marks, didn't you just trade with Xie Xiaoting for tons of grain? Why still short? Yun Shan, big house, big appetite, never too much food. Some tried persuading her to reconsider, but she stood firm, only food mattered, nothing else. Buyers left grumbling that trading with the guild leader was tough, why not just take cash? Others succeeded. Han Jiakang and Xie Xiaoting quickly traded, swapping grain for points. As for Bai Shanghua, honestly, I also need food. I've got shortages, can't spare any. Yun Shan, that's a shame. She was about to close the chat when Bai Shanghua sent, I'm planning a liquor business, interested in joining? Yun Shan's gaze darkened. He continued, I've done the market survey. Hongfeng Base was founded July 2204. Early days, food was scarce, people farmed and hunted just to survive. Great climate, spring all year, 3 harvests a year by 2205. After several good seasons, households had surplus, danger past. Farming expanded, restaurants opened, poultry farms popped up, commerce thrived. I'm opening a tavern, selling liquor. Yun Shan blinked once, reminding, 3 units of grain for 1 liquor, booze burns food fast. So do chicken, duck, and pig farms, he said casually. High costs fine, you earn it back. Players haven't realized this is a goldmine yet, they'll sell cheap now. When the rush hits, profit margins shrink. I've got the craft, you've got grain and points, let's team up and make bank. Yun Shan frowned, not my kind of money, don't touch it. My advice, neither should you. By Shanghua, let's pretend I was never here. Negotiations collapsed. He hadn't expected anyone to refuse an easy windfall. He'd even hoped to use her name for advertising, no more. Fine, I'll do it solo. He opened his friends list to find another partner. At that same time, Yun Shan slipped into thought. If she remembered right, late 2206 liquor boomed before collapsing. At first, sales soared. NPCs lacked the know-how, male survivors longed for alcohol after years dry. Even at steep prices, they paid gladly. Seeing huge profit, players crammed tutorials, learned brewing, flooded the market. Within a month, stockpiles of grain vanished into booze, oversaturating supply. Even dumping at a loss couldn't move it. Worse, December brought freak hail. Crops weeks from harvest were shredded, yields down 80%. NPCs and players alike went hungry till March 2207, when a new harvest eased the crisis. I need a plan, Yun Shan muttered. Sadly, in her last life she'd been Lu Min's private doctor, with one mission, heal him. She'd buried herself in medical texts, studying like a machine, oblivious to current events. Most news reached her secondhand. When exactly did that hailstorm hit, she strained to recall, failed, and sighed. Better warn Lu Min, let him decide. As for her, once she cleared this quest, everything else wasn't her concern. I have something important to tell you face to face. She logged in and pinged Lu Min 15 minutes later. He appeared before her, raven black hair, eyes like obsidian, sharp-cut features, a beauty like a carved statue. What's up? He asked. Yun Shan recounted the liquor grain boom and the December hail. Can't say where the info came from, she ended, but I swear it's true. I believe you, he said without hesitation. Business done, Yun Shan glanced at him, embarrassment rising. Her gaze flitted aside. That's all, you can go. Seeing her flustered, Lu Min said, forget what happened before. Pretend it never did. When we meet in the real world, we'll finish that talk. Hearing pretend it never did pleased her until meet in the real world froze her smile. Why so shocked? He tilted his head. Didn't you already know? This isn't just a game, it's another world. The residents aren't NPCs, they're real people. Yun Shan, she knew the truth herself, just didn't know when he'd figured it out. If you didn't, then why that night, when gray rats attacked the base, did you log in to warn everyone? His calm voice cut deep. That proves you don't see them as data. Thunderstruck, Yun Shan realized Lu Min had long guessed, only never said so. Hashtag major crime scene alert hashtag total social and physiological death hashtag Yun Shan once again executed her trademark vanish logout move, fleeing like lightning. Alone in the empty room, Lu Min murmured low, when the time comes, you won't escape. He stepped out. Yugi stood guard. Scanning around, he asked, where's the miracle doctor? Ran, Lu Min said. Yugi sighed deeply, helpless. Sir, could you treat her nicer? Stop scaring her. The base had only one doctor who could treat the Lord. If she bolted and never came back, what then? I didn't scare her, Lu Min replied. Didn't scare her, yet she'd fled twice? Yu Yi didn't buy it. Got time to spare? Go run errands, Lu Min ordered. Yu Yi. When her mind steadied and the familiar light of the decorated room brushed her eyelids, Jun Sam realized she had returned to the real world. She took off the VR helmet, her heart pounding hard, uncertain if it was excitement or panic, for what she thought existed only in the game had suddenly spoken of meeting in reality, which nearly scared her to death. How is he planning to meet me, she wondered. A friendly alien interview? Or an interdimensional invasion starting a star war? Yun Sam couldn't imagine. In her memory, players who persisted in the game only gained stronger bodies, rarely sick, never awakened special talents like in the game, at best just pushed their potential to human limits. If the two worlds really connected and war broke out, she paused and thought, everything in the Red Wing camp is decided by Luckman, he'll surely establish peaceful relations, no need for fighting. But if he insists on acting alone, then lock him in a dark room and strip him of his speaking rights. Though she had formed a countermeasure, her chest still felt heavy, for a simple crush had somehow crossed worlds and now the man chased her down for responsibility, utterly absurd. Before she even decided what to do, her body moved first, logging her out. Falling in love is harder than seizing the throne, Yun Sam muttered, collapsing on the bed and cocooning herself in a small blanket. 2 days later, Yulai Tavern officially opened. After the firecrackers ended, the staff stood at the door shouting, grand opening, huge promotion, buy one get one free. We sell beer, sorghum liquor, corn liquor, and rice wine, don't miss out. Some even set up tables outside, poured full cups of wine, and handed them to passers-by. Top-grade wine, free tasting, come have a look. Hearing the word free, an NPC couldn't resist, rushing up, give me a cup. Beer, sorghum, corn, or rice wine, which would you like to taste? Beer, he answered instantly. The clerk handed him a teacup, though filled to the brim. It was no bigger than a chess piece, just a sip's worth. The NPC gulped it down, unsatisfied and craving more. Your wine's pretty good, smooth and malty, of course, the clerk said proudly, our brewers are all masters. The NPC clenched the cup, itching for more, while the constant shout of buy one get one buzzed in his ear. He bit his lip. I'll take a pound of beer, and maybe. The clerk quickly presented other samples. Here's sorghum liquor, here's corn liquor, here's rice wine, taste them all. The NPC tried each one and nodded. Sorghum's fragrant, corn's strong, rice is sweet, I'll take another pound of sorghum. Excellent, right this way. When Yun Sam noticed, a long line already stretched in front of the tavern. NPC men, female players, male players alike, she quietly observed, just as two female players passed by chatting, this rice wine's so good. Not harsh, doesn't make you dizzy, right? Sweet and soft, with a floral note, like a drink. But the line's crazy, even busier than the milk tea shop next door. Let's walk around and come back. I swear I'm addicted to this rice wine. If I can't drink it again I'll die. Future ahead. They laughed and walked off. Jin Sam was speechless. If even women who disliked alcohol loved rice wine, then everyone else would too. For male players, drinking in-game didn't harm the body, so it was profit, not damage. No wonder they queued with enthusiasm like buying rare gear. As for NPC men, they hadn't smelled real grain liquor in ages. Now seeing it again made them lose all reason. Afraid missing this chance meant never buying it again. In truth, prices weren't cheap. 1 pound of rice wine cost 20 credits, beer or corn 30, sorghum 50. Luxury prices, yet both male players and NPCs seemed bewitched into buying. This madness only drink lovers could understand. Yun Sam didn't drink, but watching, she calculated. Business margins, net profit from 1 to 400%. No wonder Bai Shanghua ignored advice and refused to quit. Even if he didn't invite me, he could profit alone. But with partners he'd share risks, expand faster, seize the market. He dared reveal his plans so openly. I found it strange. Wasn't he afraid someone would steal it first? Now I see, his preparations started long ago. After hearing his plan, even if I wanted to act alone, recruiting workers, brewing, finding a shop, all takes time. Impossible to beat him. After a while, everyone will know brewing makes money, then it won't matter who joins or not. Having thought it through, only one doubt remained. What was Luckman waiting for? Why hadn't he intervened? If it were her, stopping players from selling liquor would be hard, for she'd be cutting their income and they might want revenge. But Luckman could solve everything simply by issuing a prohibition order. The next day, the gold forum buzzed with chatter. Old man Slayer, you want the boss to carry you? You're the boss yourself, keep pretending. At boss carry me, gold miner. Everyone here's a merchant counting money till their fingers cramp. Unlike me, a poor worker. Tears.jpg, can't he breathe? Liquor's such a big profit, how did I forget? If I'd remembered, I'd be rich. My heart hurts like missing $1 billion, jealous but not. Honestly, food's always been scarce in camp, even wanting to brew, no ingredients. Now go to a grain shop, they won't sell much anyway. Don't think the rich make it easy, they just have means, dreaming by day. If not for the boss spotting the business first, street vendors would have piled in to get rich. Just imagining it's exciting, dreamy eyes, please don't wake me, kneel to the boss. Others learning to brew need time, at least one round. Slower, that's why the boss rides the wave. At boss carry me, melon eater. Got it, boss carry me is just short for boss, no bad habit. Someone asked, on the online store, the book How to Brew Grain and Fruit Wine is trending, anyone want a group buy? Old man Slayer, dreaming by day, can't he breathe, count me in. Within 3 days, the book Home Brewing, Grain Wine, Fruit Wine, Flour Wine, A Beginner's Guide topped the ebook charts, sales still rising. 3 more days, 8 of the top 10 bestsellers were about brewing, yet the Red Wind camp remains silent on any liquor ban. Meanwhile, Bai Shanghua planned to team with a barbecue shop owner to hold a beer festival, another big sale. Waiting long and still seeing no action from Luckman, Yoon Sam couldn't help messaging, you didn't issue a ban. Because you don't trust me? To avoid logging out again, she called directly via watch, skipping the meeting part. Luckman replied swiftly, I trust you. Banning alcohol outright isn't the best way, I have other plans. So that was it. She relaxed, her heart at ease. She went to join the beer festival. Curiosity piqued, smoke curled through the air. Even from afar came the aroma of roast meat. Close up she saw pork belly slices sizzling golden, brushed with spices, crunchy and fragrant. Besides pork there was goat, sliced and skewered, grilled till golden with chili and dill, juicy and tender. There were also grilled tofu, rice cakes, beef, steak, chicken wings, chicken breast, even stuffed wings with fried rice inside, crisp skin outside, aromatic within, quite a flavor. After eating came thirst, some drank beer, others rice wine. Those who didn't like either grabbed milk tea, one gulp, and they felt refreshed, body light. No matter how much we eat, we won't gain weight or get high blood pressure, so happy. A female player walked past with a skewer in one hand and a drink in the other, cheerful and bright. Yoon Sam stopped, curious how Luckman would handle this in this life. When the beer festival ended, grain prices jumped 30%, yet that hardly cooled the brewing craze. Brewing grain liquor yields 1 to 400% profit, even with cost up 30 it's still huge. Then switch to fruit or flour wine. I'm learning anyway, grains consume too fast, that's why prices soared. Wait till December's new harvest, then it'll drop, but by then will liquor still sell high? Who knows, brothers, earn while you can. Every day the forum filled with people cheering each other on to make money. As guild leader and famous grain hoarder, Yoon Sam received over 100 private messages daily, all asking to buy her stock. Annoyed, she finally posted publicly, I'm feeding over 200 beasts at home, out of food, anyone got some to sell? I'll pay top price. At everyone, the guild fell silent, realizing that even she, with all her hoarded grain, still wasn't enough for her own house, and thus everyone gave up and went to trade elsewhere. At the Hongfeng grain store, Chao Lang picked a sack of sorghum, a sack of rice, and a sack of flour, ready to pay. The clerk reminded her, customer, grain is scarce lately, each person may buy at most 5 jin a week. Chao Lang was stunned. 2 days ago when I came, that wasn't the rule, it changed yesterday, please forgive us, the clerk said politely. Chao Lang was about to argue when she saw more than 20 security guards standing in the store, staring at her, on high alert, as if they might act the moment she pushed back. She said, then I'll buy 5 jin first. Leaving the Hongfeng store, she hurried to other grain shops, whether run by NPCs or by players, all had quietly changed the rules. NPC grain stores now let each customer buy only 2 to 3 jin a week. Some player-run stores even changed professions, directly turning to selling grain liquor. This is way too much, Chao Lang muttered. After running around all day, she bought a total of 40 jin of grain. Luckily, the pet hospital's storage still had reserves. She left a bit for herself, then scraped together, just barely assembling 100 jin, after which she opened the engraved zither chat and tapped Van Sam. Heard you're short on grain, I pulled some together, take it for now. Seeing the message, Van Sam was speechless. This girl was too sincere. She wasn't actually short of grain. She'd only made an excuse to avoid being disturbed, yet Chao Lang took it as true, helped gather grain, and Even sent it without naming a price, practically a gift. If you give it to me, what about you? Asked Van Sam. I'm alone. If one person's full, the whole family isn't hungry, Chao Lang said lightly. Besides, grain stores are rationed, but noodle shops, bun shops, barbecue stalls, and meat eateries aren't. If we eat frugally, we can last till late December. By then the beer craze will pass, farms will harvest, and the ration rules will cancel themselves. Then thanks, after applause, Van Sam did not refuse but accepted readily, thinking she'd simply safeguard the stockpile for Chao Lang and return it at the end of December. And she wasn't the only one. Hearing that raising magic beasts was hard for Van Sam, Han Jia Khan quietly sent 500 jin of grain, yet still felt guilty. I turned the rest of the stock into grain liquor. If you'd told me sooner, I could have stayed longer. His case differed from Chao Lang's. He'd founded a guild, contracted grain fields, and a whole band of brothers ate by his hand. When a chance to rake in points finally appeared, of course he had to charge hard for profit. Even so, remembering to leave grain for Van Sam showed heart. Before her gratitude could settle, he added, 500 jin at market price, points transaction, so not a gift. Fair enough. Their bond was purely monetary. Day after day passed, the drinking fad became custom, public fervor spiked, growing more severe, edging beyond control. That day on engraved zither chat, pro technical talent, I'm self-taught. Brewed 2 vats of 100 flowers wine, listed on the trade market, sold at 200 points. Hands on hips manic laugh.jpg, I love brewing, sorghum liquor, made with ancient methods, 1 vat at 400 points, just got bought, books. Low-key person, I make apple wine, apricot wine, pear wine, goji wine, mulberry wine, small batches, just running a little volume, LVL10 translator, inventory small, net margins from 100 to 300%, run a few loads and profit hits tens of thousands of points. Conclusion, all a bunch of scammers. Purge me first, you say. Your food is fake, I say mine is real. Crying hard.jpg, shin in hand. Even so, I suspect you hoarded plenty too, though there's no proof. We're one close family, petty squabbles or not. It's another happy day in game. Merriment filled the channel. Then Chao Lang popped in. You're buying all the grain to brew liquor. People like me with no farmland in name are about to starve to death. Daydreamer. The rich lady's just being modest. You're an awakened money ability woman. Money ability can't turn into grain, Chao Lang answered, admiring not jealous. Grain is indeed tight in the base lately, but wait till next quarter's farm harvest and it'll be fine. Count it up. Not many days. Chao Lang fell silent, thinking maybe she should go offline for a while and only return in late December. After speaking with Luke Min, Van Sam patiently awaited the best solution. She waited and waited, till NPCs bowed to players as masters and joined the brewing ranks. Countless stores of grain became liquor, yet the base never issued a prohibition nor took any practical measures. She suspected she'd been strung along. November flashed by. In early December, her wrist device pinged a points transfer. Profit share netting a full 100,000. If 1 point equaled 70 yuan, her monthly income was 7 million, earned lying down. Even after a huge score, she wasn't happy, because when the craze ebbed, only chicken feather messes remained. On one side, grain liquor was overstocked, losing money and still unsold. On the other, staple grain was scarce, its price quintupled and strictly rationed. Money couldn't buy it. Shocked, she thought, how is this different from the last life? Better to have issued prohibition from the start and banned using grain for liquor, and soon there'd be hail. Even with advanced prep, whether farms could be saved from was still unknown. What exactly did Luke Min want? At the same time, Bok San Ho's face was dark as ink. By rights, selling liquor for a pile of points should delight him, yet now he faced a serious challenge. The guild was truly poor, rich only in numbers on a ledger. The warehouse had a scant bit of grain, far from enough to eat. How did this happen? Snapped partner Hong Tui. Didn't you say the plan was solid? First cash in on liquor fever, then quietly hoard grain, and when the base goes short, offload part of the stock for another killing. Everyone knew they were rushing to brew. The base would likely face shortage. Why wasn't it diffused beforehand? A detour got blocked, Bok San Hoa said grimly. In truth, he'd been hoarding all along. Before the beer festival he bought grain as brewing material. After the festival he bought his food to stack in the warehouse. He thought he'd been cautious, hoard immediately after the festival and there'd surely be enough for his household. But rationing came too fast. Purchase quotas clamped down. Ready-to-eat goods sold slowly. No matter what, he couldn't buy more. What about NPC grain shops? Hong Tui pressed. Didn't you say you're on good terms? They're landlords with stores at home and willing to sell at reasonable prices. When I finished selling liquor and went with points in hand, they already had no grain. Bok ground out. Heard someone paid triple market to scoop most of it. Even if they like me, they're still merchants. No reason to wait for me with half the money. Bottom line, your decision was wrong and your foresight lacking. Hong Tui ignored his difficulties, knowing only that the big pie he'd been promised had dragged him into a pit. What good are points? Can you eat them? What good is liquor? Does drinking fill a belly? Do you know how many men I command and how much grain we burn daily? To partner with you I nearly emptied my house, and now I hold bundles of points while my people go hungry. The more he spoke the angrier he grew. I get it, at the end of the world, points are just numbers, grain is the hard currency. Headache pounding, Bach cursed inwardly but outwardly soothed him. I'll find a way on grain, don't worry, by late December the fields will harvest and it'll be fine. What we borrowed before, I'll pay back double then. Hearing this, Hong Tui calmed. When he did liquor business, he hadn't dumped all his stock, some remained in the warehouse. Ration it, send the men to hunt outside, and maybe they'd endure. Pity so many NPCs joined the hype, not only pouring their household grain into brewing but closing shops too. Otherwise one could still eat at noodle houses, grain shops, bun stands, spending more points perhaps, but at least not worrying about no food. After weighing it all and judging this a temporary crisis, he sighed, May harvest comes soon, in the meantime please no accidents. Truth be told, he had heat ration athlete's foot every summer, it itched and hurt, only winter could treat it so next year he wouldn't suffer. If the crew starved to death for lack of grain, there'd be nowhere left to cry. He'd even considered taking the crew offline till the new harvest, but besides the ration fungus, overwork had left him with a body full of ailments needing urgent care. He couldn't wait. When he logged in, his bodyguards had to follow or he felt unsafe. After finally snatching a registration code, he feared his game avatar might die and the code be voided. Just thinking of it made him panic, so, after turning it over and over, he decided to play as usual, lead the men, and count the days of hardship. The more he thought, the worse his stomach ached. Life was too hard. That day, as usual, Tan Van logged in to cook lunch for the Magic Beast Manor. While cooking, she suddenly received a message from a game friend. I'm so jealous you found a good job. Now I realize the most important thing in a job isn't high hourly pay but meals included. What's going on? Tan Van asked. She was online and offline every day just to cook, focused on raising her culinary skill, ignoring worldly fuss, so she had no idea why her friend sighed so. The friend said, Hongfeng Grain Store has new rules. Each person at most 3 Jin a week, counting a player online 10 hours a day. If you don't eat meat or vegetables, you still need nearly 1 Jin of grain daily to cover basic needs. As a life-type player who isn't good at hunting and has no extra food sources, just that ration is not enough. I'm not even talking about eating well, just eating my fill is impossible. Keep in mind fullness ties to spirit, and avatars will starve to death. I heard the mission hall revised hiring posts. Woodcutters used to earn 2.5 points per hour, paid daily. Now it's 40 grams of multi-grain manta per hour, paid daily. I'm about to take the woodcutter job. At least they feed you so your belly's full. Well fed every day and free of survival anxiety. Tan Van didn't feel much, but considering this friend was both an in-game and real-life friend, she said, work meals don't count toward your quota. Tell you what, I'll buy grain at the store and then transfer it to you at the same price. Thus, each week her friend could get 6 Jin from the Hongfeng store by combining Tan Van's quota with her own. As long as she had enough points, she wouldn't fear starving. Thank you so much, the friend said, overjoyed. You're welcome, Tan Van replied, ending the chat. Though doubt lingered, had things really gotten this bad? Why couldn't she feel it? The manor's storehouses had loads of grain, even counting 200 adult magic beasts, there was enough for years. Besides, lately the wolf dogs brought home more prey than they could eat. To keep ingredients fresh, the manor lord even assigned NPCs to care for live prey, to be slaughtered only when needed, and the more they kept the more there was. From what she saw in the manor, the days were tranquil and well provisioned, with none of the grain shortage signs her friend described. Van Sam paused to look, a thoughtful light flashing in her eyes. At some point the notice board on the left had sprouted several new recruitment slips, such as technician workplace, the refining workshop, work, or refinement, pay 50 grams of grain manta per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided, seamstress workplace, Hongfeng tailor, work, use animal hides to make tents, pay 40 grams of grain manta per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided, carpenter workplace, the fields, work, build threshers and water wheel vanes, pay 50 grams of grain manta per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided. After a glance she recalled a term, work for relief. The authorities invest in infrastructure while those needing aid join the projects and are paid in kind or cash. In peaceful years it is a policy to help the poor. In a time of upheaval it can replace direct relief. She then read the right-hand board. Buying land quantity, unlimited, location, unlimited, payment. Grain or points, buying herbs quantity, unlimited, types, unlimited, requirement, good quality, payment, grain or points, buying 3-star and above beasts quantity, unlimited, types, unlimited, requirement, dead or alive, better quality fetches higher price, payment, grain or points. When she finished, Van Sam fell silent. Faced with crisis, she thought about stopping it, whereas Luke Min thought about using this chance to hollow out the players' pockets. From what she had seen and heard these past days, plus bits leaked in the gold engraving chat, she could roughly deduce what he had done. He was not idle, he only looked calm on the surface while behind the scenes he quietly said everything, gripping everyone by the throat. First he secretly found grain merchants and, with absolutely high prices, amassed a huge stock, enough to feed all residents of the base and all players through the next harvest after several months. When the liquor craze rose, he raised thresholds and strictly limited the weekly grain each person could buy, so the grain used for brewing was only the surplus and, no matter the frenzy, it would not cause an irreversible shock. When the shortage began to show, on one hand he offered entry-level jobs to keep people from starving while obtaining a large supply of cheap labor, on the other he harvested players by letting them swap land rights, herbs, and beasts for grain, openly and aboveboard. Grain is a necessity, without it you starve to death. So even knowing the price was high and unfair, people still had to grit their teeth and buy. The more she thought, the more alarmed she grew. This operation is slick, players will cough back the money earned from brewing, and the property painfully accumulated up to now will likely be sold off and transferred, she thought. This man Luke Min was truly dark. Just then she sobered. In this life he had been too kind to her, enough that she almost forgot what a dog of a temper he had in the last life. After surviving hundreds of assassination attempts and over a dozen riots from players yet living safely to this day, he could not be any sort of saint, not to mention the eastern plot of land, where he fenced bamboo around and threw up a hut then dared to sell it. Living long in a peaceful society has made me too gentle, she sighed, then went along the stalls buying land and herbs. Out in the wilds, Bok Kanjong crouched in the grass, eyes locked on a flock of white egrets and river ducks at the bank. After a while he flicked his hand, and people rushed from behind to cut off the bird's path. He led the front to close the circle and in a blink the prey was penned. Kill, he shouted, and the hunting squad drew blades in unison, chopping at vital weak points of the beasts. In mere moments the 1-star and 2-star white egrets and ducks lay strewn across the ground. Hefting one, he smiled, these ducks are fat, roast them and we can feast, and we can also trade with the NPCs for ration points, because feed was scarce. Most ranches in the base had shut down, now meat was a rarity and only hunting could get it, and if you worked it right you could barter for plenty. He was calculating how to maximize the value of the flock when a ripping sound cut the air. His expression changed. He twisted to evade and bellowed, ambush. At the same time, Bok San Hoa was calming Hong Tui. Don't overthink it, it is not as serious as you imagine. If we do not harvest enough, we will hunt outside to make up. My cousin Bok Kanjong is trained for this. If he leads the team they will not return empty-handed. When they are back I will split half the prey with you. Whether you keep it for food or trade it is your call. Give it a short while and when the grain in the fields ripens I will make it up to you properly. His logic was clear and Hong Tui found it convincing. Emotions easing. Just then the Black Watch chirped urgently, they must be back. Maybe the haul is so much they cannot carry it and want me to send people, he said, used to that scenario, who knew that when he opened it the message read, cousin, we fell into an ambush. Of the guild members with us, 19 are dead, 26 are badly wounded, and all the prey was seized. Notify the base patrol at once. We are being chased and will reach the base immediately. Bok San Hoa's face sank. He gathered his men to fetch them and also called up the patrol. Hong Tui, who had been waiting gleefully to split meat, heard the exchanges and his expression turned odd. Was it not supposed to be not that serious? So how did the prey vanish and a bunch of injured get dragged in instead? Near the base, the pursuers finally broke off an ebb like a tide. Bok Kanjong, with slash wounds on arm, thigh, chest, and belly, clenched his teeth through the pain and pushed on. Kanjong. Bok San Hoa led the rescue, and when he saw his cousin with the survivors his heart tightened. 53-star elites had set out, and fewer than half returned. Who did it? He raged, swearing to repay in full no matter who it was. NPCs, said Bok Kanjong. He frowned. NPCs, he repeated, not a few, at least over 100, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star all mixed, and their faces looked familiar, perhaps former residents of Hong Fong base. You mean base NPCs went to the wilds to play bandits? Yes, he nodded. Bok San Hoa suddenly sensed the gravity. Even Hong Tui caught up. Was it the liquor mess before? NPCs brewed liquor and burned through their stores, could not survive lately, so they went to the woods to rob as bandits. If so, why did the game merchants not announce it? Panted Bok Kanjong. Maybe the event just went online and has not been posted. guessed Hong Tui, gazing at elite hunters sprawled all around. The veins on Bok San Ho's forehead throbbed, rotten luck clung to him like tar. Having parsed Luke Min's scheme, Van Sam returned to the manor, sometimes brewing pills, sometimes playing with her beasts to pass the time. To train their responses, she made a flying disc and chose 10 of the best 3-star wolfhounds, then called Big Black and Little White to the same starting line. When she threw the disc, the dozen beasts shot out to snatch it. Whoever grabbed it first got a snack, and the one with the most grabs would receive a nourishing core for the pack leader to help rank up. Ready, I am throwing, she warned from her little stool. The dozen beasts squared up, faces comically serious. The disc flashed out. Big Black burst ahead, but it fell closer to Little White. It sprinted, snapped it up, and with practiced ease turned back, like a 4-star white tiger skin hiding a dog's soul. Van Sam went speechless. Raised among wolves from young, it had grown a bit overbearing. Little White pattered back with the disc and demanded its prize. I just made pork and salted yolk zongzi. Want a taste? She said, peeling the leaf and holding it to its mouth. The fresh leaf scent mingled with savory meat, with a salted yolk inside, the pairing unique and rich. Little White tried a bite, liked it, then opened wide and gulped the rest. Careful not to choke, she said, patting its muzzle. Its eyes sparkled. It could eat 2 in one go. Want a demonstration? Just as girl and beast were about to conduct a serious experiment, Tan Van rushed up out of nowhere. The wolfhounds brought back too many chickens, ducks, pigs, and goats. The feed alone each day is a huge expense. The NPCs in animal care ask whether we can hunt less. They are about to be overwhelmed. No need, Van Sam said lightly. The world has been unsettled. I have already ordered the wolf pack and the herd not to go out. After a few big meals, the number needing care will drop. All right. Satisfied with the firm reply, Tan Van left. Van Sam threw the disc again. This time Big Black seized it and came back giddy for a treat, and she fed it a salted yolk zongzi piece as well. While they played, a system prompt popped up. Congratulations on ranking up. She opened her status panel and saw name, Van Sam, stamina, 88% of 100%, fullness, 91% of 100%, overall combat rating, 3-star. Her ID color shifted from white to blue. Seeing the prompt, she recalled that cooking, healing battle pets, training beasts, brewing pills, eating high-tier beast meat, and beasts killing under her banner all granted experience. Lately the wolves had been hunting as a pack, so it was about time to advance, about time to log off, she murmured, letting the beasts play while she packed the snacks and stool. Just as she finished, the system kicked her off. Today's accumulated online time, 480 minutes, that is 8 hours, you have reached the daily limit health check, your physical state is good starting tomorrow, your daily online time increases by 1 hour, totaling 9 hours. Please balance work and rest, and game in moderation. Since the forum blew up, Van Sam set aside time each day to read the feed. At first she barely noticed, later she felt as if she had hundreds of detective eyes planted all over the base, because no matter what happened in Hong Kong, the forum friends always sensed it first and launched into heated debate. Bitter wail, I've got 80 caddies of sorghum liquor sitting unsold, barely any points left, I'm so broke I can't afford meals, I hate this. If time rewound to half a month ago, I would have robbed and sealed myself off and beaten myself to death. Leak old-timer, watching others, hup, money comes easy, points and loot drop like rain. When it's my turn, 2 days of joy and bam, deducted again, should have kept my hands to myself. Envy without jealousy, endure a bit, wait till late December's harvest, life won't be this hard. Questioning life, I'm thinking of going offline for a stretch, come back when the storm passes, points short, grain expensive, want to buy and cannot, this life is unlivable. Big household, big business. You're one person and can vanish half a month on a whim. I've got a whole crew, bought up properties in game, leave for half a month and what will it look like when I return? Terrifying. Lucky star overhead, I'm a bag of illnesses, counting on the game to heal me. Now I can't even walk. If I hadn't gotten hot-headed and joined the liquor hustle, I'd have been fine, grain in hand, sell high, life would be comfy. Retirement player, Chow Lang bet lost then pay up, thanks. The truly miserable or innocents like me dragged down, no grain fields purchased, no hoarding habit, usually buy a bit of rice every few meals or eat straight at the canteen. Now we're wrecked, grain prices up, even with points you can't spend them, wish I could be an NPC porter to earn a bite. Van Sam ate instant noodles upgraded with meat, lapchon, and eggs while scrolling. Hearing them pour out their miseries, she wasn't surprised. Since the shortage exploded, the forum spit bitterness daily, every day a new tragedy show, and as long as someone is worse off than me, life still has hope. Even Chow Lang popped up, probably crushed by pressure. Thinking a moment, Van Sam typed, "Last time you sent me 100 caddies of grain, I stored it and didn't eat it. When free, I'll send it back to you. Chow Lang. How can a gift I gave you come back to me?" She was a flash-rich lady and wanted face. "I stocked up earlier, not short of grain," Van Sam said truthfully. "You gave me a gift and I accepted it. If I gift you back, won't you accept?" Chow Lang, thinking of hiring NPC workers at the pet hospital, she yielded, "Thanks." Van Sam asked, "Is 100 caddies enough? If not, I have more, can give you some." The mass homebrew phase had passed, households with reserves needn't hide them. She planned to sell part of her grain and make a killing, though when and to whom mattered. "Enough," said Chow Lang. "More than feeding myself, I can even use grain as wages to pay NPC workers." On that, Chow Lang sighed, "Guild leader, you know? The VR game is apocalyptic, NPCs feel like real disaster survivors, most have the habit of hoarding grain. Whatever they do, they keep a pile at home and absolutely won't touch it, or they can't sleep at night. Live with them long enough and you start hallucinating they're alive, the immersion is wild." Earlier, when shortages showed, workers mentioned several times that having more grain stashed never hurts. Now that I think about it, the system was hinting. Van Sam thought, "Be confident, it's no mistake NPCs are survivors, with feelings and preferences, live together long enough and you'll treat them as friends. You don't notice it day to day, when crisis hits you realize grain shortage is huge," Chow Lang sighed. "Hope the next harvest comes soon." Van Sam suspected Lu Men would ignore hail devastation and push grain prices even higher, but she had no proof. After chatting with Chow Lang, she returned to the Gold Engraving Game Forum, where a new wave of tragic sales had gone live. Void, never imagined it, went hunting in the wilds and got ambushed by NPCs till dead. What kind of NPC is that? Anyone in charge? Turns out an old acquaintance, went hunting, got ambushed too, barely kept alive. I know the lead NPC, he's Bosley, who inherited from his father and ran a battle pet gear shop. House collapsed, Bosley of the battle pet shop? I know him. Heard he felt pet gear wasn't profitable, so he liquidated for cash, hired a master brewer at a high wage, and pivoted to liquor, but he entered late, the brew barely sold and most turned to dregs, then he closed and vanished. Books. Void. Victim speaking, wilds are crawling with vanished players. House collapsed, maybe he got scammed by players and developed revenge. I am already a cripple, thanks for asking, I was just chased down, I hid in a remote corner and force logged off, now I don't dare return, I fear that the second I log in I die, small weak pitiful helpless.jpg. Void, damn, how did I forget you can log off in the wilds? If I'd known death was certain, I'd have gambled, if I log in and no NPCs notice and no beasts spawn, maybe I make it home smooth and I win. I am already a cripple, my heart is panicking, logging in equals death. Void, don't say that in front of the dead. Rage.jpg. Seeing this, Van Sam sighed from the heart, everyone here is talented, all that skill poured into a game is talent left unused. Next day. Van Sam put on the VR helmet, before logging in she saw a system pop up, from early December 6th to December 31st, the whole server will run the Bandit Eradication event, hunt bandits and hand them to designated NPCs to gain contribution. During the event, contribution can be exchanged for super value rewards. After that came two charts. First chart, a 1-star bandit equals 10 contribution, a 2-star bandit equals 50 contribution, a 3-star bandit equals 200 contribution. Note, contribution cannot be transferred. Second chart, 4 points equal 1 contribution, 3 caddies of sorghum equal 10 contribution. During the event, each person may exchange at most 3 kinds, and the total stock is 1,000 kinds. A registration code costs 10,000 contribution, limit 20. Note, in this event, players may also gain extra contribution by donating grain. Each caddy of rice grain donated grants 2 contribution. Each caddy of meat donated grants 3 contribution. Reading the event details a few times, Van Sam fell silent. Why did bandit eradication feel secondary? The authorities seem to be giving players a righteous way to swap stored grain for registration codes. After a beat, Van Sam smiled. Survival had been so harsh that many wanted to log off and wait out the chaos, then return when things stabilized, but with registration codes dangling as rewards, cash-rich players would charge in, and those planning to abstain might find it much harder. Seeing the event go live, Hong Tui felt like he'd been sledgehammered. Stunned, when he recovered, he clutched his chest and wanted to cry, "Why is my fate so bitter? Build a business for what? Do any trade for what?" If he just hoarded grain and sat at home, people would have come to buy at high prices, then he could squeeze those short on points at will, name any price, and hold all the leverage. Now it was flipped, to squeeze points he had to beg grain. Bok, Sin, Hoa. Hong Tui swallowed anger. The more he thought, the more upset. I shouldn't have trusted him. The base harvests once every 3 months, shortages won't last long. By late December, grain in hand sells high, Bok Sin Hoa analyzed calmly. Rather than miss the window, sell me a portion of your stock. His chosen counterparty was locked in. 2. Who didn't spook, buying grain? Fine, base price times 7. Bok Sin Hoa frowned, the market's only times 5. Quoting times 7 was roughly 40% above the base. Locked in 2 drawled, if the market's so cheap, go buy there. Bok Sin Hoa said nothing. If he could, he wouldn't be haggling here. Anyway, this is the trade, take it or leave it, Locked in 2 said, knowing anyone with grain was a big shot now. I'm only offering because we've had some dealings, don't push it, otherwise I'll find someone else. Times 7 is the friendship price, and plenty will fight for it. Not necessarily, said Bok Sin Hoa evenly. Many bid high, but they may not want your batch. For instance, Ta Fu Din, a rich name on the forum, had land and grain, with reserves beyond Locked in 2's. Or Chao Lang, who spends hard when needed but lives solo and won't buy too much. So the buyer pool wasn't as huge as the bluff suggested. Times 6, agree and I transfer now, Bok Sin Hoa said. Times 7 is the friendship line, lower and we don't talk, Locked in 2 stayed hard. While they stalemated, a subordinate messaged, from December 6th to December 31st, the entire server runs a bandit eradication event. During it, players can donate grain to gain extra contribution. One registration code takes 5,000 caddies of rice to redeem. Not good. Bok Sin Hoa was shocked. He had negotiated with Locked in 2 right after breakfast, then barely logged in and missed the announcement. With the fresh intel, he was about to accept times 7 only for Locked in 2 to ping first, times 10, and at most I sell you 300 caddies. If no transfer before noon today, the deal's off and I'll place the grain elsewhere. 300 caddies, that barely fed him and his crew 1 round. Earlier they'd agreed on 1,000 caddies, now hacked down to 7/10, vicious. But if he refused, he might not even get those 300. If they couldn't eat their fill, they might miss the event. After a long churn of nerves, Bok Sin Hoa gritted his teeth, deal. That noon, after watching the market for a while, Van Sam finally moved. She posted on the Gold Engraving Forum, selling 5,000 caddies of rice, details by private message. By midnight tonight, whoever bids highest gets it. At all the moment it dropped, the whole forum roared. Blinded at dawn, 5,000 caddies? Really 5,000? Am I seeing things? Only one truth, the guild leader isn't selling grain, she's clearly auctioning a registration code, slam the table. Freak, when I asked if she had spare grain for brewing, she said she was short, now that grain means contribution, suddenly she has tons and wants to hold an auction, women. Bitter wail, I'm so dumb, truly, when she refused the brewing craze I should have sensed something, if I'd stockpiled with her, would I be getting rich now? Sour wage slave, among so many tycoons here, I only admire the guild leader, who else can make the gold engraving bosses juggle cash and line up to beg for deals? No one but her. Smell of money, auctioning registration codes? Smell of money, wait. I'm going to scout the borders right now. NK Books. The tick-tick feed buzzed, a few bursts in a row. Van Sam waited a moment, then clicked open items one by one, villas, high-rise apartments, cash, jewels, antiques and calligraphy, in-game points, land inside the game, offers as strange as 100 curios, anything and everything, Her job was to pick one party as the trading counterpart. As she scrolled, a message popped: "Carry me, big boss, you already foresaw today would come. That's why you rejected the booze brewing partnership, right?" It was by Sanhua. Van Sam didn't answer but asked back, "And you? Did you really not know that throwing all grain into brewing would cause a food shortage, and now you're being choked by the collar?" By Sanhua thought, of course he knew a nationwide brewing craze would make grain short. He had even planned to use the chance to earn first by selling liquor, then earn again by selling grain, but the abacus clacked loudly and the road bent in execution, and he dug himself a hole. Van Sam said, "I'm just cautious, I never do things that seek death," and then, "Are you out of the game already?" That last line left by Sanhua speechless. If everything had gone as planned, he would have sparked the brewing movement and then slipped away whole, warehouses stuffed with grain waiting for others to come knocking with cash. Like Van Sam now, if anyone complained, he could flaunt a winner's ease and toss out, "Place your bet, bear your loss. This world does measure highs and lows by means." The vision was lovely, but he lost. He sold the liquor, clutched a bundle of points, yet could not swap enough grain. These days felt like a hand at his throat. "Van Sam, before the tavern opened I told you I wouldn't dodge this money and you shouldn't either. Someone tried to stop you, but when the momentum surges, no one can stop it. With things as they are, if you bet, you bear it. To win is boundless scenery, to lose, at least don't throw away your poise." By Sanhua gave a bitter smile. The world is literal, losers lose. The failed can only lie there and take the tide. Truth is he could have been the winner, not to mention policy whiplash so that NPC grain merchants were bought out early by others. Had he been careful and left a portion of reserves for daily use when brewing, he would not be so passive now. In the end he was overconfident, thinking his own skill could spin this board. He forgot life is full of surprises and one must always leave a retreat. "I was careless," he admitted. "Had I been more cautious, it would be better." At this, Van Sam grew vexed. "Must you cling to the liquor business?" He answered simply, "When an industry yields huge profit, of course I lean on it to earn. Can't you pivot? You think everyone is like you, casually pulling out an improved formula so the product sells out in a blink? For an average player, making money isn't easy." Van Sam was stumped. He went on, "I plan to make money, buy assets, expand influence, and when the company ran events again, leverage my in-game base to get a few registration codes, good as gifts or self-use, now ruined." Van Sam sighed inwardly. By Sanhua was a talent. If not for Lumin striking too hard and surrounding him on many fronts, he might well have pulled it off. Blame the unlucky timing, fate's jest. Guild leader, you, a full-time player, aren't being valued, he suddenly lamented. "If you ran commerce, you'd call wind and summon rain." "Full-time players are not worse," said Van Sam. "What matters most is lightness, lying down and earning each month. 10 myriad points arrive, converted to cash is 7 myriad of 10,000, so why need a bicycle? A landlady must contact households and collect door by door, while she, as an NPC, gets automatic transfers, funds arriving on the first without fail." By Sanhua, fine, to each their ambition. At 1400, in the coin carving game guild, Van Sam posted on time, highest bid now, a single detached villa in XX community. At everyone, then another auction notice, selling 5,000 caddies of grain, details by private message. Before midnight tonight, whoever bids the highest, I sell to that person. At everyone, I concede you're formidable, in earning and executing. I bought the guild leader, country eyes opened. So auctions work like this, dog-eyed shock. Guild leader, you're heartless. The truly strong didn't even glance at the blast. After sending, she ignored the buzzing pings, donned the VR helm, and logged in. In truth, her hidden grain far exceeded 5,000 caddies, only that she had allotted it at dawn. 1 share to the guild auction for lifestyle upgrades, 1 share to swap for land in-game, preferably to beat the drum and swallow the entire eastern district. Besides that, keep enough feed for the demonic beasts. If you want to play well, it isn't so easy, sighed househead Van Sam. Killing bandits can be exchanged for grain, brothers. Charge. A great wave of players rushed out of camp as if to level the bandit nest in one go. Hong Tui, bound up by promissory talk several times, had lost all hope in by Sanhua. After considering, he decided to buy grain himself. He planned to sell a portion of lands under his name to get through the hurdle, only he sought many opinions on price to push it higher. First he went to the mission hall, seeing someone posting to buy land. He asked an NPC for contact, 3 ordinary residential dwellings with perpetual title, and 1 shop with 7 months of usage remaining. How much grain can I get? He asked. The counterpart was an NPC named Chief Steward Zwa. The reply came soon, but the price was low enough to break a heart. Unwilling to part with his houses so cheaply, he tried elsewhere: a pawnshop, dead pawns, live pawns, trades in points, trades in grain. The quote he got was lower than Chief Steward Zwab, fretting. He received a message: planning to buy grain? He brightened: yes. Got a line? I know a rice dealer called Bossu, holding plenty of reserves, paying higher than others. If you're interested, go take a look. And a coordinate followed. How much higher? A tad higher. The friend sighed. Special times, grain is dearer than gold. Please understand, which sounded like a chopping block. The world is as it is, take the money and move on, the friend consoled. When the late 12th month harvest comes, days will ease. He wanted to refuse bravely, but his feet faithfully remembered the address and he resigned himself to go. Bossu deserved his foresight, living in a luxury villa and feasting on meat and wine, servants like clouds. Coming and going, each visiting customer led inside for a private talk. Seeing that deals even required queues, Hong Tui's confidence dipped. He feared his price would be too low, while the other side likely feared too many customers, reserves running short. Just slightly above market would do, lest the mixed real estate assets in his hand become unsellable. When his turn came, he was ushered into a youth NPC seated properly, a silver mask covering the upper half of his face, age hard to gauge, the ID Bossu above his head. By custom he asked for a quote. Bossu named a number indeed higher than Chief Steward Zwab and the pawnshop. The knife is in their hand and I am on the block. Those with grain all want to press prices now, so finding a relatively benevolent one isn't easy. Too tired to run around bargaining, he simply stopped struggling and agreed. Once settled, Bossu had people handle the title transfer, while Hong Tui summoned subordinates to haul the grain. Deal done, he rolled away with his men escorting 3 carts of grain. Satisfied, Bossu glanced at the sheaf of land deeds, and the corner of his lips arced in quiet triumph. Night fell. Chief Stewards Zwa Xan and Bossu Unia reported progress to their lord. Zwa Xan spoke first. Our people are spread over a dozen spots, buying land, herbs, and demonic beasts at roughly the same price. Things are smooth and we've already taken back a good bit of territory, Unia said. Compared to his side, the rice dealer Bossu offers the highest, so business has been best these days. Give it a while and we can will out another chunk of warehouse reserves. Zwa Xan added, most residents have a habit of storing grain, so shortfall isn't severe, and even if they don't, they can join construction crews to work for food. The current situation is stable, Lumen, only for now. The two looked at each other. Unia ventured, my lord fears hail in the 12th month? Early season hail still allows replanting. Hail near harvest cuts yield, and in the worst case wipes it out. Lumen said nothing, eyes lowered in thought. Zwa Xan volunteered. We have sent people to pitch tents and erect hail nets, most work already done. Even if hail hits suddenly, the harvest won't be too badly hurt. Besides, even if this quarter's crops were ruined, the warehouse has enough stock to last till the next good season. After a long beat, Lumen said, stand down the troops. Proceed with anti-hail work as usual, elevate bandit suppression on the schedule, do not let robbery and slaughter run wild. Yes, Zwa Xan answered solemnly, the camp does not plan to starve them. Why not live in peace? Why insist on running out to be bandits? Unia truly did not understand. Not everyone falling from a lofty perch can level their heart and begin anew, said Zwa Xan. When resentment is exploited, nothing they do is surprising. There are 300 to 400 who chose banditry. Surely not all of them are resentful, Unia doubted. Some are blind and unmoored. Nudged a little and they follow, said Lumen. That's quite foolish, sighed Unia. Zwa Xan. If the wise were the vast majority, would land recovery have been so easy? Unia, it made painful sense. Everyone answers for their choices. If they threaten camp safety, they must bear the due cost, said Lumen, calm. They nodded in tacit understanding. Highest bid now, a detached villa in XX community plus 1 million in cash. At everyone. Highest bid now, a tower in the XX residential block. At everyone. Highest bid now, an office building on XX Commercial Street. At everyone. Every 2 hours, Van Sam announced fresh highs, the intent to kindle bids plain as day. Onlookers in the guild chatted it up. Guild leader is insane good, told you I'm tired. If I recall, that XX Commercial Street tower is worth several tens of millions? Later she can be a landlady lying there collecting rent. I knew bosses were rich, just didn't know this rich. Eyes glazing. JPG, full-time players have a blazing future. My love for the game reignites. Messages piled to 999 plus, the bustle running till midnight. At midnight, Van Sam posted a final note, detached villa in XX community and office building on XX Commercial Street. 5,000 caddies of grain sold, thanks for the bold participation, and someone immediately called for a second auction soon. He had cash and assets ready to jump in any time. Without the slightest attachment, she closed the feed. That night she slept like a log, counting money even in her dreams. So Q, a longtime 3-star player, awakened the talent comprehensive body enhancement. Whether strength, speed, or endurance, he outshone others, yet because of a moment's bad decision, his stock of grain and team savings ran dry, and he had to return to the logging yard to start over. So Q felled a tree in 3 strokes, shouldered it to the warehouse, then turned back to continue, with great strength and long, fast strides. His efficiency was nearly double that of others, he sighed. Inside that the wage rules were unreasonable, paid by the hour they failed to show his superior output, paid by number of trees felled was not much better, and since besides the strong young laborers there were older players and NPCs, they would hardly agree to reform the pay. Frustrated with nowhere to vent, he poured it all into work. That's it for today, off shift, the foreman called. The workers, sore-backed after a day's toil, moved slowly, while So-Q, on long legs and quick feet, slipped ahead. So-Q, 8 hours today. You can take 8 multi-grain buns, the pay clerk said, scooping from a big wooden tub. The buns were made fresh in the kitchen to a uniform size, each roughly 40 grams, with slight variance. Seeing how hard So-Q had worked, the clerk deliberately gave him fully weighted buns. Thanks. So-Q held a sorghum bun in his mouth, cradled a corn bun and a black rice bun to his chest, and strode off. Before long a sprawl of tents came into view, a temporary rest area that also served as worker dorms. By rule, woodcutters worked 8 hours daily and, after 3 consecutive days, earned the right to lodge there, the upside being it was free. So Q ducked into a hide tent with his buns, thinking life was a bit rough but still bearable. When the fields harvest well and grain prices normalize, I won't have to grind as cheap labor, he cheered himself, full of hope. Grain has been short across the outpost lately, which is a chance for us, Tuveen said seriously. A chance? The members looked at one another. The ranch lacks feed and has halted. Bandits roam outside, hunting parties bring back far fewer beasts, so meat has fallen too. NPC households each still have some stored grain and won't live on staples alone, he analyzed calmly. Someone caught on. You mean, we mass-produce pickled cabbage to eat with rice? It will definitely sell, Tuveen declared. The team was still blank. How to make it? Who can do it? Me. I studied it offline and even practiced with Napa at home. The finished taste is pretty good, he said without modesty. Where do we get Napa? We only have points and nothing else. Another worried. Knock on NPC doors and ask whether they'll sell Napa. If not, ask whether they'll provide ingredients and we'll pickle for them. Afterward we take from 5 to 10% of the output as payment. Tuveen had it mapped out. Plenty have Napa but can't pickle, and eating the same thing gets boring. Wanting to change flavor is normal. After a short discussion they felt this business was doable, and if it failed we all just go offline and come back in over half a month, they said. Working as NPC laborers fills the belly, but the game experience is awful and drags on the spirit. With teammates' support, Tuveen rubbed his hands, resolved to build something. Though a bandit purge event was running, Van Sam did not care. Her head was full of how to buy the entire east sector and how to sell grain for maximum profit. Divine Doctor, Luke spotted her, came up, and handed over a stack of papers. For you. Van Sam blinked, took them, and found a pile of land deeds. From now on the whole east sector is yours, Luke announced. Just by looking at that bundle, Van Sam could picture how brutally the players had been exploited. She used to think Luke Min was mentally ill and thus twisted. Now she saw she had misunderstood him deeply. With so many NPCs in the game, why had she got herself stuck and provoked Luke Min of all people? Van Sam began to doubt life. That night, a message came through from Hanjia Khan. I plan to wander off for a while. Van Sam was a bit startled. He was among the earliest players, used to swiping his card, and had traded with her several times. She did not expect that after only a few days without contact he would talk about stepping back. What happened? I finally know my weight and will give up outdated ambitions, he said. Van Sam grew more puzzled, so he explained. In other games, swiping 10,000 at least keeps you even with 2 or 3 months of others' hard play, but in Doomsday Encampment 10,000 does not even make a ripple, about equal to a few meals' wages for an ordinary player. At first I kept paying to build a business in-game, but after striving till now I cannot even balance income and outlay, barely living on top-ups. Some time ago I brewed with a partner and burned through my stores, looking at followers I could no longer feed. I suddenly felt the game was too exhausting. Van Sam chose her words. If it is because of grain, you once sold me a batch, I can return it to you at cost. Grain shortage is only the occasion. I suddenly realized that my past swagger came not from skill but from money. The game's commerce favors cash players, so everything felt easy. Once money loses such power, I have no answers. There are too many rich in Doomsday encampment. The water is too deep. I cannot swim it. Better to leave and calm down, wait for the situation to improve, then return. By then I will find a job, do odd tasks, and spend an hour a day sightseeing, which will be easier. At the start I wanted to found a great guild, later I found keeping the current size already hard, fervor ebbed into a retiree style, then the guild became a bottomless pit that needed regular funding to run. After the grain shortage the guild's diner closed and revenue was cut off. Thinking it through, my scheming is not as deep as others, my spending is not as decisive, losing is only natural, I will live as a retiree player. She respected his choice and only asked, do you still want the grain? After a long pause he answered, yes, to distribute to members so they could part on good terms. On December 13th, Luke Min received a system prompt, all bandits near the Hong Fong outpost have been wiped out. Counting from the event started had been 8 full days. The clean sweep showed how eager the players were. He did not issue any government-style notice that robbery had been quelled, nor did he cancel the event. Instead he let players keep exchanging rice and meat for contribution. Crisp, savory pickled cabbage, a little spicy, so appetizing. Tu Veen and his teammates had just set up their stall when a clutch of NPCs rushed over. Give me a full bowl, we do not take points, only barter for grain or nappa. He had not finished before an NPC cut him off. Alright, we know the rules, and they began piling nappa here and sacks of rice there. Eager and proactive, Tu Veen put the nappa and rice away neatly while his teammates ladled the pickle. Though they were run off their feet, business boomed, and grins split their faces so wide they could hardly close their mouths. Then a player stepped up. How much in points for a serving? Not for sale. Tu Veen wiped his sweat. We only trade for grain and nappa. What a pity. Player eyed the fresh pickle and left reluctantly. On the cash player forum, she cut, barter is spreading in the outpost. The good stuff takes grain to obtain. I was indignant about them refusing points, then flipped my wallet and saw the balance at nothing, and calmed down at once. I cannot afford grain or points. Even if they took points I still could not pay a flatfish couch. Back when there was no grain shortage I kept ranting this was no apocalypse. The refined food and rich variety made it feel like a bustling town. Now I can only say we were too stuffed before and had time to daydream uselessly. Envy, jealous, hate, bottom tier players wail while the big shots still shine. The registration code equals a 10,000 contribution exchange, but only about 15 items are available. You figure it out. Around 5 are already gone to some whale. 4 am old but me. Sometimes I feel like only I am trash, aggrieved and doodling spirals on the spot. Born to eat, no, food still has me. Daily ask, did Hong Fong outpost get new grain today? Cut. No. Daily ask, good, I will ask again tomorrow. Scrolling the forum, Van Sam almost replied, no, hail, but since the crowd there was too mixed she kept quiet for safety, gave no warning, and merely prepared in silence. On December 15th, Van Sam was in the kitchen making duck soup. The pot held duck, smoked ham hock, mushrooms, bamboo shoots, and a tonic sachet simmering together. The broth was bright and sweet. 1 sip cleared the mind, 2 sips calmed the nerves and whetted the appetite. The pot sat on low flame when a racket of clatter peeled across the roof. She froze, almost thinking a flock of 3-star hatchlings had come to smash the house in a coming-of-age prank. Opening the window she saw a lump of hail smack the ground with a thud. Hail, protect the crops. The NPC tenant farmers shouted. Impossible. Her heart lurched. She had warned the manor to take precautions early. Stepping out of the kitchen she looked into the distance. Fist-sized hailstones poured like rain, drumming on makeshift wooden tents as if to smash them flat. Where the roof broke, hail punched into piled harvests and in a single blow caused ruinous damage. Even bamboo huts could not last, parts already failed. As for the tenant farmers who meant to rush out to save the crops, forget it. A few were struck and injured on the spot. The hounds and the younglings fled for their lives. Eyes wild with panic, everyone inside. Luke lashed 4 star vines around a bamboo house to brace the base, then beckoned all in. Van Sam kept a blank face and ground her teeth inside. In her previous life the outpost had a hailstorm. She overslept and missed it. When she logged in the disaster was over. All she saw was wreckage and ruined harvests. People kept sighing that if only they had known in advance and prepared. Both NPCs and players said so and she half believed it. But seeing it with her own eyes now she knew how flimsy that talk was. With hail pounding like this, what preparations could matter? Better to be ready to abandon the crops and focus on reducing casualties. That is the truly right choice. Hailstones went clang 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 and everyone here felt their hearts go cold. They had counted on a bumper harvest at the end of December to ease the famine, but now it was ruined. Hope burst like a bubble, and for the next 3 months no one knew how to survive. The settlement is like spring all year, it hardly ever rains. How could hail suddenly fall? Tan Van could not believe it. Luke said, the weather is deranged. What is hail compared to the apocalypse, which will come when it will? Tan Van was speechless. Van Sam looked out and wondered how long this hail would last. They waited and waited for more than an hour before the sky finally cleared and no more ice fell. But the manor was a mess. Wooden huts toppled, bamboo houses collapsed in several bays, crops destroyed, the outer stone wall broken in many places. Seeing this, Van Sam rolled up her sleeves. Don't stand stunned, come help, my lord. Hugh Nia looked at Luke Min with worry. Just now the hail fell in sheets and the big pavilion swayed on the verge of collapse. With the tents about to cave and the fields about to be ruined, the Lord acted and shielded a large tract of farmland, and he also sheltered those nearby so the hail would not wound them. Luke Min stared at the distant wreckage and said in a deep voice, the disaster is severe, beyond crop losses, NK books, and collapsed houses. Residents will also be injured. Add rescuers at once. Yes, Hugh Nia took the order. Seems the hail is stopped. After a long quiet outside, Dr. Ha opened the main hatch of the cellar and led the way to check. Chao Lang looked around and was struck dumb. It was a cellar of unknown age yet quite clean, bright, well ventilated, with a stash in the corner of grain, dried meat, and flour. Enough that Dr. Ha alone could eat for 4 or 5 months. All right, you can come up, said Dr. Ha. Coming, Chao Lang answered, scrambling out. Dr. Ha shut the hatch, and only then did Chao Lang notice the cellar door was hidden beneath the floor, very discreet, hard to spot if not for earlier luck. This hail calamity looks very serious, Dr. Ha said, eyeing the roof punctured with several big holes, face grave. Had we hidden in a room instead of the cellar? A single slip and we would have cracked heads and blood everywhere. Yes, thank goodness for the cellar, recalled Chao Lang, heart still racing. Dr. Ha fell silent for a beat, then lowered her voice. About the cellar, could you keep it secret for me? When hail struck so suddenly she had not thought at all, just grabbed Chao Lang and hauled him in, and when the accident ended she suddenly realized how improper that was. What if he grew ill-intentioned? Chao Lang had no idea how tangled the worker NPC felt inside. She said seriously, of course I'll keep it secret. The world is perilous and villains abound. If thieves set their sights on it, what then? Dr. Ha chuckled, much obliged. On the Kok Kim game forum, players wailed in chorus, tenfold nightmare. Teammates always told me to log off inside a house. I was lazy and didn't. Today I just logged in, hadn't even figured out what's happening when clang a hailstone smacked my chest, clang another on my leg, clang one on my forehead, and I'm dead. I'm more wrong than doughy, my realization. So it really is an apocalypse setting, where people die at the drop of a hat. Too much. I've played so many games and only Doomsday Encampment is this capricious. For heaven's sake, not even a heads up, no time for players to prepare mentally. You get used to it, not the first time. In the Bandit Purge event the government notice came only after the hunters outside were wiped by bandits, snatching life from death, saw hail fall, jolted awake, hands moving like a storm, raced to log off and barely saved a life. Wage earner. In the laborers' tents there were more than 20 NPC guards holding up a shield to protect workers. What does that say? It says wage work has prospects. Only workers become people above others. Gone mad, fields are nearly wiped, grain prices soared tenfold, ration limits cut further, each person each week one caddy. Can this broken game be played? Are they trying to force players to quit? Daily Asker. I'll come back next April. The stricken area was too wide and damage too heavy to repair in a single day. While Van Sam was busy she suddenly stopped and summoned the wolf pack and the scout flock. What is it? Asked Luke. We have to go out, said Van Sam simply. I'm coming, Luke answered at once. Thinking the outside was chaotic, she agreed. She left 30 wolf dogs to guard the house and led the rest out, with Luke glued to her side. The white and the red scouts circled overhead, piping now and then to guide the wolves. After watching a while, Luke caught on. Since hail just fell, there must be monsters beaten to death, and you want to pick them up, Van Sam. Leaving them would waste the chance. Much of it is meat, what they cannot finish they can gift or sell. Luke thought that the calamity had only just ended and most people were steeped in grief. Yet this one's brain was wired to go collect monsters. All around was quiet, only the howls of wolves and the whistles of the flock. The pack darted about and dragged back 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star monster carcasses, stacking them like small mounds. Van Sam frowned. Less than expected. Luke, perhaps you're not the only quick one, others might be just as sharp. Well, they were found for free. Van Sam did not mind. Next day online, the system popped up. The Bandit Purge event has ended. From the 16th to the 31st of December, the whole server runs the Fight Natural Disasters event. Donate food to gain contribution. During the event, contribution may be exchanged for high-value rewards. Each caddy of grain donated grants 2 contribution points. Each caddy of meat donated grants 3 contribution points. A registration code costs 10,000 contribution points and can redeem up to 20 items. Van Sam mused, is this a hint that the wilds are safe now, and players may enter and leave the settlement freely to hunt monsters? In the mission hall, right after the disaster, new hiring notices appeared. Construction worker location, residential district, work, house repairs, pay, 50 grams of multigrain buns per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided, sanitation worker location, streets, work, clear hail, pay, 40 grams of multigrain buns per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided. Farmer location, fields, work, rinse crops and reseed, pay, 40 grams of multigrain buns per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided. Hunter location, the wilds, work, follow arrangements and join an NPC hunting squad. Requirement, 3-star, pay, 80 grams of multigrain buns per hour, paid daily, dormitory provided. So Q entered the hall planning to switch jobs. After a glance around, he felt that swapping this for that was all cheap manual labor. But when he saw the hunter posting, he nearly wept with joy and rushed to sign up. A higher rank truly helps. He felt from the heart. Resident Van Ton Bin long supplied large quantities of ore to Lam Sam settlement and even sent people to help refine weapons, traded for advancement elixirs, and successfully advanced to 4-star. The off-world traveler Vu Min once provided a batch of high-quality 2-star and 3-star wolfdog pups to Lam Sam settlement and in exchange gained 4 3-star death guards to protect him. Resident Lu Tuet Lin hauls a lot of grain to Lam Sam every half year to sell wholesale for rich profit, Ta Tin reported one by one, then continued, in this hail disaster, Van Ton Bin was unlucky and injured, his right thigh fractured. Because it was discovered late and treated too slowly, he has been left with a chronic ailment. Vu Min fared worse, struck squarely in the worst hit zone. Not only did his 4 3-star death guards perish, he himself failed to escape. As for Le Tuet Lin, her household has many servants but insufficient grain reserves, and after the hail she's been selling off valuables in fields, buying grain at high prices. Luke Min asked, how did Lam Sam settlement react? Ta Tin replied, they too suffered, and for now have no mind to send relief. Instead, they hide under the eyes of Hong Fong settlement and spy. At the dawn of the apocalypse there appeared hundreds of survivor bases. Later many were annexed or overrun by wild monsters and destroyed. In July of the year 2204, Hong Fong settlement was founded. Thereafter conflict among settlements never ceased until Hong Fong became the only survivor base within 100 miles. Lam Sam lies far away and normally mines a different well and river, but they have stretched their hand too far. With this rare chance, Luke Min resolved to sweep away both the rival and the turncoats. Lam Sam has been spoiled by easy abundance. Keep close watch on their moves and report to me at once, Luke Min ordered, and Ta Tin nodded solemnly. Van Sam had planned to sell half the monsters and keep half, but then found several wolf dogs were pregnant and needed more meat to nourish themselves, so the idea of selling vanished. These days fix special small portions for the pregnant mothers. When cooking, mind the nutrition, Van Sam instructed. What is most nourishing? Meat, monster meat, high-tier monster meat. So over the next few days, Tan Van and Chef Man kept changing up dishes for the mothers. Meat with rice noodles, the meat wrapped in a veil of rice vermicelli, tender and fragrant, the bowl hot and easy to eat, warmed over meat, rosy in hue and richly savory with a light prickle of heat, not hurting the appetite but rather calling for more rice. Braised pork rice, a quartet of belly, pickles, eggs, and rice, the belly rich without cloying, the flavor weighty, the pickles crisp and fresh, egg and rice soaked in the gravy so fragrant that just the gravy stirred through the rice fills a bowl. Because the fare was so good every day, the other wolves were tempted to have pups of their own. Alas, with no news of partners yet, Chef Man laughed. Outside folks scramble for enough to eat. Only you lot think of meat every day, and lots of it. The pack was not discouraged. Instead they hovered by the pregnant mothers several times a day. If they could not join the feast, taking in the aroma would do. Most of all, a monster must have pursuits. If one does not crave monster meat, how is it a proper monster? Big Black squatted aside, head ducked low, an illustration of what is called cannot bear to look. Dusk. Havan sat in the tent, quietly pondering life. Before this, he did not play games. Each day was 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of leisure. Since playing Apocalypse Base, each day became 8 hours of work, 8 hours of gaming, 4 hours of sleep, 4 hours of eating and commuting. The schedule was packed too tightly, truly using life to play. On the other hand, he did mental work by day, then logged into the game at night to do physical labor. After a whole day, his body should have been hollowed out, it ought to have been so. Yet virtual reality tech was so strong that, after more than a week, his energy brimmed and his strength overflowed. Sleeping only 4 hours a day still felt better than the old 8. Havan fell silent, though it felt fine. If he kept this routine, he feared he would soon become a wage spirit. After all, working 16 hours, living like an emotionless machine, crushed the mind. Open your eyes and it is work, before sleep it is work, with hardly any chance to breathe. Only by working a full 8 hours per day for 3 consecutive days can you lodge in the tent for free. That requirement is too hard, he hesitated. Or, just like before, log in 2 or 3 hours a day and treat it as casual play? He was computing when he suddenly smelled smoke. Fire? He rolled up in shock and sprang to his feet. It is all tents nearby, they will burn. He followed the scent anxiously and found a male player of 2 stars hiding in a corner, smoking. Just a cigarette, do not panic, the fellow greeted as if acquainted, clearly used to being misunderstood. Since we meet by fate, want to try one? Havan had tried smoking in reality but found it tasteless and quit. Now he was curious what a cigarette in-game tasted like. Seeing him hesitate, True Tinbin smiled. Rest easy, no charge. Cigarettes in the game are not ordinary, I guarantee they hit harder than anything you ever smoked. He drew deeply, face rapt. Curiosity fully hooked, Havan reached out. Then give me one. Without fuss, True Tinbin deftly handed over a lit cigarette. Havan received it carefully. It was a hand-rolled stick, fine shreds, rolled into a tube and wrapped with paper, crude in look. Only by tasting yourself will you know, said True Tinbin, helping with the light. Try. Overwhelmed by the other's warmth, Havan dipped his head and took a pull. Bang! Smoke rushed into his chest, fireworks burst in his mind, every hair loosened, every cell howled with comfort. Addicted to the feel, he drew hard again. This hobby uses precious materials, each quarter the yield is scarce, so it can only be smoked on the sly. Remember to keep it secret, said True Tinbin, slipping him 2 more as hush money. No problem. One was enough. He meant to refuse the other 2, but the man insisted and stuffed them into his hand. Unable to decline, he accepted in the end. After 1 cigarette, his spirit multiplied 100-fold. He felt he could work straight for 24 hours. Swaggering with vigor, he ran to do jobs for the non-player characters, then he logged off to rest, and before sleep drowsily thought that tomorrow he must ask where to buy them. This thing lifted the spirit too well, its effect defied heaven. Next day at the company, he was listless, unable to keep his eyes open. What is up? Pulled an all-nighter gaming, a colleague asked casually. A nameless impatience burned in him, an urgency he could not name. Craving a smoke. The colleague was surprised. Did you not smoke? Lately I like it, he said. Then go to the smoking area, have one, and come back, the colleague suggested. Dragging like that will kill your efficiency. He could only suffer in silence. He did crave a cigarette, but the one in the game, the real-world stuff he despised. Truth be told, he was gritting his teeth. Deep down he wanted to ask for leave, go home, log in, and savor a stick. But reason told him that was outrageous, so he fought the urge. The more he wished the day would end, the slower it crawled. At last, off work, he bolted home. Through the door, he tossed his bag, skipped dinner, donned the virtual reality helmet, and logged in. The tent's layout was exactly as he left it. He pulled out a cigarette, impatiently lit it for himself. Smoke flooded his chest, brash emotions ebbed at once. Peace washed over him, the long-lost calm returning. 10 minutes later, the butt died. Still unsated, he lit a second. The tent reeks of smoke, no wonder True Tinbin went outside, he thought. I wonder if he is online. If he has left the tent zone and I cannot find him again, what then? While wool gathering, he finished the second, stood to vent the tent, and, nursing a sliver of luck, strolled to yesterday's spot, hoping to run into him. Fortune smiled, True Tin Bin was still there smoking. Seeing him, Ha Van brightened and hurried over. Still smoking, he bantered. I tried one yesterday, books. Not bad. I do not know if it is expensive or where to buy. True Tin Bin lifted his lids and smirked. Used up what I gave you? For some reason, a wrongness pricked at Ha Van. The player before him seemed like a different person, the warmth of last night gone. But his urge to smoke gnawed, so he nodded honestly. All gone. Want more? Sure, I have some, a cruel glint flashed in the other's eyes. One stick for 15 points. Ha Van gaped. That's steep? A twig of a cigarette at such a price. Steep? His smile deepened. So, do you buy? Ha Van's lips twitched, he could not force out do not buy. As if foreseen, the other enunciated, see? Even steep, you still want it. Food is pricey lately, Ha Van said, I spent a lot and do not have that many points on hand. That is your problem, came the bland reply. Transfer however many points, and I give you that many sticks. Then he sneered, or, be a middleman, scalp others at high prices, and earn the spread. A phrase flashed in Ha Van's mind, feed the habit by flipping goods. He realized he had been set up. So-called warmth was a lie, smoking outside the tents from the start was to bait a hook. Once sure he was hooked, the mask dropped and the vicious, hypocritical face showed. Tracing the cause and effect, a chill seeped through him. So the roll is not ordinary tobacco? True Tin Bin glanced at him, bored. It is tobacco, but mutated, exceedingly strong. That was on par with narcotics in reality. Ha Van clenched his fists, aching to seize the man by the throat. He wanted to ask what grudge, what hatred, that he would be dragged into the mud. Relax, this is only a game, it does not harm your body, the man said lazily. But the high is so good that ordinary people cannot resist, even if they ruin themselves, they still want another pull. He raised his eyes. And you? Turn around to report me, or find a way to earn points to buy? Rage left Ha Van speechless. After a long time, face fallen, he resignedly raised his watch. I will transfer 150 points, give me 10 sticks first. True Tin Bin smiled without sound. Deep night. A group of masked men scaled the stone wall and hurried inward. When a servant passed, they crouched at once, ducking from view. Once the servant left, they detoured forward. I have scouted it, this is the storehouse, the manor's grain is all hidden inside, one whispered, words flying. Time is short, go in, grab a sack, and go, do not loiter. His words had not finished when his mate's eyes glazed, staring behind him. Sensing trouble, he whipped around. A row of whitefinches stood along the forked bough, eyes round with curiosity, as if saying, what are you talking about? Louder, let us hear too. Kill, barked the leader, striking first. Quicker than speech, more than a dozen three-star whitefinches shrieked together, whistles booming over the manor. The flock roused from sleep and surged to encircle them. Run! Seeing the enemy many in strength mismatched, the leader ordered retreat, but packs of wolf dogs blocked the way, staring with thoroughly unfriendly eyes. The thieves were speechless. They had reconned before, knowing the manor kept many beasts. By plan they should have snatched a sack and slipped away unseen. In reality, they had barely entered when their trail was exposed and the whole thing flipped on them. Break out together. The chief refused to yield, still dreaming of a clean getaway. A 4-star vine lashed forth, binding the lot as one tight bundle. Middle of the night and you make a scene? Are you seeking death? Luke's whole body leaked cold. The masked men hunched their necks, not daring to breathe. The vine poured in toxin that numbed nerves, they could not move. Luke called the patrol, handed the culprits over, movements practiced. When the bustle great and small was done, dawn had broken. This will make the 5th wave of thieves soon. Hugh Nia stood aside, speechless. What are these people thinking? With only cat-scratch skills they dare to steal? Luke said, being caught for theft does not kill you, only earns hard labor. Maybe they want free meals from labor, and if lucky, a free bed. Hugh Nia was at a loss. In truth, in recent days theft and robbery had cropped up again and again. Prowlers kept coming, not only at Van Sam's, though her house, big and prosperous like a fat sheep, drew more eyes. These were not only players but also system-controlled characters, thinking to lean on innate advantages and pull one job then run. Pity the manor had beasts on guard day and night, so success was terribly hard. At first light, Van Sam logged in. Hearing that another band had been caught, she carried dried meat to reward the meritorious. Well done, this is your reward. White finches, the path to eating meat is now unlocked. In an instant, they burst forth with 12 out of 12 enthusiasm for their work. 10 cigarettes in, Havan planned to ration 1 stick a day to stay clear-headed, yet after only 4 days he had, without noticing, smoked them all. He clenched his teeth, thought about quitting the online world with its tobacco, then after a day still slipped back into the game to find True Tin Bin, 150 points, sell me 10 more, blurting in such a rush it felt like only a drag could smooth the frenzy inside. True Tin Bin coolly said, smoke on your waking points, if you cannot control the urge the addiction will only grow. Havan ground out, all the better, just as you wish, and when the other stalled on purpose he snapped, points are paid, where is the smoke? The man handed it over stone-faced. Havan's hands trembled as he lit up and drew deep, his whole body loosening at once. But pleasure is brief and a single stick at most kept him steady for about 10 minutes before it was gone. He rubbed his brow as an unsayable irritability rose, badly wanting to light another, yet with the points gauge nearly empty he forced himself to shove the pack back into his pocket, hesitated, then asked, if I buy from you next time can it be cheaper? True Tin Bin slanted him a look and smirked, show some capability and I can cut 2/10, a unit price of 15 points discounted to 12. Havan staggered off absent-minded while the other smoked in silence and his thoughts drifted far. This smoke is just a trendy toy, try one, a cigarette won't hurt, life is hard, you need some fun to endure, relax, this won't addict you, we are brothers, would I harm you? Then he laughed at himself for being a fool, coaxed step by step into the pit until he could no longer climb out, self-disgust and helpless slump clouding his eyes. After the disaster there were urgent chores without end, repair stone walls, rebuild houses, clear the fields, sow anew, raise beasts, 10 pregnant females, buy good patties cheaply, mind the shops, and when all that busyness finally paused it was January of the year 2207, seeing the open lands and herds of magic beasts, Van Sam felt a sudden proud swell, my realm returns, and just then a ping from Hugh Nia came in, not good, Lord Warden has an incident. In the previous life, while receiving treatment, Luke Min also casually wore down his body, so the illness swung between better and worse. In this life, warned early by Van Sam, Luke Min seldom needed to act personally and his condition improved markedly. In reason, with another half-year of recuperation he could hope for a cure and relapse should not occur, yet Hugh Nia said for many days now the Lord has worsened. Fewer lucid spells that also shorten, the stupor grows longer, he said he has been busy and several times forgot to do the medicated bath and take his draft. That is why, and once he resumes on time he will be normal, but just now he finished the bath and immediately relapsed. How could that be, thought Van Sam with a lurch of dread. Where is he, she asked. Got the address, I am coming, before I arrive hold him back. All right, he said, then for some reason added a nudge, hurry. She grabbed her medical case and shouted to Bach, and the white tiger, now a 4-star battle pet, fully grown and, thanks to excellent feed and frequent treats at the manor, even larger than its kind, came pelting over. Raise troops for 1,000 days to use in 1 hour, she thought. Carry me out, she ordered. The tiger blinked thinking there would be a fun errand. She promised, help me through this and for a full week I will cook for you each day. The tiger lit up, feigned courtesy for a heartbeat, then bolted with her on its back lest the deal be revoked, while Luke arrived a step late and could only watch the divine physician vanish. With a loud bang, Chu Hong, the golden-feathered eagle, and Ta Tin were blasted aside. Bitterness filled Hugh Nia's mouth and one question pounded his head, this looks worse than before, how do we stop him now? The Lord's mental affliction was known to only a few, and if it got out the residents would panic and chaos would follow, yet suppressing him mid-episode was no simple feat. At the critical moment Ta Tin barked, summon the patrol. Hugh Nia cried, what if it leaks? Chu Hong said the Lord was tricked into ingesting poison, hence the aberration, and though Hugh Nia felt that excuse flimsy, more hands to stop him was still better than letting him rampage out, so he called for aid. Several 3-star guards with their beasts hurried up. Luke Min swatted Hugh Nia aside and strode off fast. He is running, Hugh Nia gasped. Ta Tin choked down pain with 2 pills, hauled Chu Hong, after him, and Chu Hong led the chase. At the same time, racing against the clock, Van Sam was blocked on the road by a man whose purple-titled name read John Han, marking 4-star strength. With more than 33-star players behind an extravagant lineup, she said, "I will pay triple, deal with the one who hired you." John Han froze, the 3 stars buzzed. He recovered to declaim, "We keep our code, do not think dirty money can." She cut and make it 5-fold. Someone tugged his sleeve and whispered that they should accept. He flared up about professional conduct and keeping one's word. She said 10-fold, and a henchman answered earnestly that at 10-fold the daily code can rest. John Han wavered, whereupon she patted the tiger, "Run," for in her rush she had not brought the Beast Legion and a random brawl would only hurt her chances. She had memorized their IDs and could return with force later, while right now Luke Min needed saving. So they roared off, cries of running. A con artist rose as the men gave chase, but the 4-star white tiger's massive frame moved with blazing agility and quickly left most pursuers behind. John Han snorted and personally came to kill. The rest kept on. As the gap closed, Van Sam warned, "Killing inside a camp is a serious crime, not afraid to lose your merits." He said coolly, "No need to worry, before long Red Wind will change masters and whether killing is a crime will be up to the new lord." She fell silent. She had not yet launched her usurpation plan. And someone was already acting first. "It is about time, you should be on your way," he added, but she was calm, having just learned from Luke that he was almost there. With a 4-star powerhouse, a 4-star vine, and a 4-star white tiger together, damage would not be hers. Had they struck at once it would be troublesome, but they wasted breath, and as John Han raised his blade a hand shot out and clamped his wrist. "Luke Min," she breathed. His pupils gleamed blood-red like gems. He glanced at her, then, face stone-cold, looked at John Han as if at a dead man. Before the latter knew what happened, his avatar died and he was kicked from the game. His men screamed for revenge and hurled attacks at Van Sam. She was about to tell the tiger to dodge when her sight blurred and Luke Min stepped in front of her. More than 33 stars were blasted away, several so badly hurt they turned to white light before touching ground. The rest quaked. She spotted a tear at his cuff and a dark thread of blood and asked, "Are you hurt?" But before she finished he had pulled her into his arms. Ta Tin, Chu Hong, Hu Nia, and Luke arrived calling, "My lord," only to see the embrace and relax. "All right, saved, divine physician, are you unhurt?" Hu Nia asked, trying to approach, but Luke Min shielded her and eyed him warily, so he stopped at a distance and said, "If all is well just say a word, I am not the point." Van Sam soothed, "Let us go home," and he obediently took her hand and followed, the two ambling back while the white tiger was left hanging, and Hu Nia mused whether the lord had gone out simply to see the physician. Ta Tin exhaled in secret. In any case, safe is good. As lord, Luke Min owned many properties in the camp, and in these busy days he often took his medicines to rest at the villa by day. Ta Tin brought the bathing sachet for Van Sam to inspect. She opened it and sniffed, frowning at once. Someone meddled. 2 ingredients were swapped, turning a calming blend into one that disorders the mind. How could that be? Hu Nia faltered. Luke asked. Management of drugs is strict. When did they act? She thought a moment and then asked the night of the thieves. Are you sure there was only one group? And Hu Nia's scalp prickled. You mean the weaklings posed as burglars so a stronger hand could slip in and change the medicine? I found it odd too, she said coldly. With such poor strength, why target the manor? Why not an easier spot? If the goal was distraction so the lord's drugs could be swapped, it fits. I will fetch the rest for you to check, Luke said. After inspection they found the bath sachet was not the only problem. The perfume sachet had also been replaced, the soothing scent adulterated with a similar incense. Only the mind-stilling soup, hard to tamper with, was intact, with most medicines altered. No wonder the condition had plunged. Who did this? Hu Nia raged. The theft was to swap drugs. The hit on me was to leave the lord without a healer. They clearly know our state, said Van Sam. There is a mole. Luke's voice went ice cold. Perhaps the mole did the swap as well. Leave it to me, I will. Bring the culprit in, I will recompose the formula, get it into Luke Min fast. She nodded. Nothing for me, Hu Nia asked hopefully. There is, do something for me, she said, and his spirits lifted. 2 nights later, past midnight, another band of fools crept in. As they neared the granary a piercing whistle split the air. The white falcon dove with speed and pecked lumps all over the thieves' heads. Seize them, dogs bayed, servants shouted, and the yard roared into chaos. One man slipped from the tumult, slid into a chamber he knew too well, found a small casket, took out a sachet, dumped the herbs, and began to swap at speed. When a vine lashed out like a serpent and pumped toxin into him, he jolted, tried to struggle, and the white tiger pounced, flattening him and handily snapping his shin. Lights flared as everyone saw the face of the one who had changed the herbs. Unfamiliar 4-star ability user. Luke smiled thinly. Seems a guest from another camp. The man, clawed and silent as if mute, was dragged off while the grounds were turned upside down on Luke's order. From the garden, suspicious items, reported a subordinate. The land deed shows a mere tenant who somehow holds several good fields and a luxurious residence, and another box. We do not know what it is, but it was hidden with extreme care, so it must be important. Then Sam's face changed as soon as she saw the cigarettes. What is that? Luke asked. Tobacco, she said. A single stick can addict. It makes people throw away reason, betray friends, burn through fortunes, and at worst sell their very souls. And he shuddered. Did the ones from yesterday talk? She asked. He nodded. The 4-star thief was trained, the other 2 fear consequences and kept shut. Take the cigarettes to the owner and tell him he gets them back when he confesses, she said, though puzzled. Luke complied, and half an hour later returned with a wry look. For a smoke, he confessed to all, and the thread unraveled. At Lam Sam camp they had long wanted news of Lukemen. Those who could not infiltrate shifted to purchase, first tempting with profit to turn Red Wind residents into their watchers, then using drugs to control, laying baited traps to hook people into addiction. Once hooked they would do anything to keep smoking. Besides the 2 jailed, there is one who reports the Lord's movements regularly for a fat stream of points. Follow the deposits and we will find him. Luke seethed. Does Lam Sam mean to start a war? And Van Sam, recalling John Han's words, thought they might be propping up a new lord. She checked her memories. Nothing like this had happened in the last life. After the hailstorm famine, every camp was too busy recovering to make trouble. In this life, at the very start of the year, tobacco had appeared, and faced with this abrupt shift she chose to watch the change calmly. At dusk she logged off to cook, and as she opened her signal someone messaged, "Our dukes and marquises born only of noble seed. The NPCs look down on us, let us join hands and rebel, Vand perhaps future in." Lot of the sitting Lord Sam paused, then answered I am in, and was pulled into a small group of 10, where a fellow was declaiming, for building a camp who needs a system quest, I will prepare materials, build it myself, and set my own kai, which, setting the rally aside, actually pleased her. If not for how highly she rated the Lord's charm, she would have loved to play archvillain. Someone asked how, in most online worlds, creating a camp required a Lord's writ, and the man said stock materials, race structures, fence with bamboo, name the camp, and lastly I declare it established, which left the chat in a row of dots. Then he resumed bragging, my camp has long been finished and I am already lord, only the hail ruined the harvest and we lacked grain, so we pulled off one big job, robbed a granary, got enough rice, and I went home happy to be lord, and just then the group owner appeared to steer them back. The NPC lord is unjust and exploits players. Brothers, it is time to resist. Once we win we divide land and title and each of you will be lord. How joyous. Someone raised the real question that everyone wanted to dethrone the current lord and seat himself, but how? And the owner said, by creating chaos. When the residents panic and cannot protect themselves, we kill all the NPC guards and take over. Another doubted that guards were too tight for a glib, kill them all. And the owner replied, I shared details only with partners, if you want out, go now. The channel fell silent as each weighed the risk, then 1 left, then 2, then 3, and in a blink 7 remained, 1 owner and 6 members. Then Sam stayed, intending to infiltrate as a plant. After a pause the owner urged again that whoever would leave should do so now, for after hearing the plan there would be no exit, none left, and he, satisfied, laid out his scheme step by step, even providing the garrison map and assigning precise roles to each. Reassured, they praised his thoroughness. Cried to overthrow the tyrannical policy and end the dark rule. Do it, victory will be ours. And while Van Sam echoed them aloud, inside she decided that with her there the players would surely lose, though why the owner had been foolish enough to invite her in at all was beyond her. Fearing that a long night would breed many dreams, the little guild master decided to finish assigning tasks today and strike tomorrow. Some members thought it too rushed and hasty, yet others agreed, and in the end the few obeyed the many and formally set the rebellion for the next day. Tomorrow the camp will be in real chaos. Remember, our goal is to use the confusion to wipe out the NPC guards and smoothly take over the camp. To carry out our great plan, sacrifices are inevitable. As long as we succeed, everything is worth it, the little guild master declaimed, painting a big cake for his partners in crime before finally adjourning. Van Sam's stomach growled, we've been meeting this long, are you done yet? The little guildmaster's real name was Ungwin. After mustering his people and stoking their morale, he ignored rest and logged back into the game, and in a private house somewhere in Red Wind Camp he confirmed with an NPC, "We act tomorrow. You will help me, right?" "Of course," said the NPC in a black cloak, face hidden, the name Kynian floating above his head. "I told you, you've passed all kinds of trials and won my friendship. Whatever you want to do, I will help." With that promise, Ongwin settled, "As long as you help me ascend to the seat of Lord, I guarantee Red Wind Camp will be the best partner to Blue Sam Camp." Yes, the Lord's seat. From the very start he had wanted to replace the NPC and become the new Lord of Red Wind Camp. The talk of finding partners and carving out fiefs after success was a lie. He only meant to use players to help topple NPC rule. And when it was over, the guild members would not share fiefs and riches but be turned on and cheated. Next he would borrow the strength of Blue Sam Camp and pocket all of Red Wind Camp, and at the thought he curled his lips into a slow smile. The next day spring wind was warm and sunlight bright, no different from usual, and Ongwin came online at the appointed time and set the plan in motion. Among the bandits who were about to be caught as a group, a few were his people. They feigned weakness, let the patrol seize them, and got thrown into jail so that on a chosen day they could lead the others to escape and make chaos. Meanwhile he had arranged hands to set fires across the camp to scatter attention, and beyond that he had prepared a large amount of mind-muddling powder, enough that a normal person inhaling it would go mad. To avoid Van Sam becoming a burden he had privately pulled her to his side with many promises. "Everything is perfectly arranged." After issuing orders he waited patiently for good news. In the jail, 8 thieves used their ambush talents and caught the guards off guard. In a blink the warders dropped. The thieves pulled a key, unlocking others as they urged, "Run." The words had just fallen when several silver needles flashed out and struck acupoints. The 8 thieves crashed to the ground and were wiped out in an instant. Zhu Hong sauntered up. "Dare to run and this is the end." A cell door that had been opened was hastily shut again by the inmates, who relocked it with trembling hands and declared, "Jail is a fine place, it's super fun here, tell me to go out and I won't." In a corner of the camp, a 2-star player was about to light a fire when a clear whistle rang. Several 3-star wolfhounds burst out and slammed him prone. The 2-star player gaped and shouted, "Inside Red Wind Camp you must not attack others, you're violating the camp's safety laws." The next second the patrol appeared and hauled him off. "Better explain why you were setting fires in the camp." The fellow fell silent. On the street, crowds flowed past. 2 groups flared into a quarrel and suddenly threw hands. After a messy scuffle neither side was hurt, but the onlookers had inhaled plenty of powder. The passers-by's eyes reddened and reason was about to snap. The brawlers were ready to withdraw when someone in the crowd leapt out, cursing, "What are you, you stinking dead thing? You scattered powder all over the roadside." As if on a signal more onlookers jumped in, beating the powder scatterer together. The troop who had been acting just to disperse the mind-muddling powder ended up with swollen faces. This isn't the script. The bandits have escaped en masse. Patrols are arresting fugitives everywhere. The fires are huge, NPCs are scrambling to fight them. The powder truly scrambles minds. After breathing it in, the residents are collectively going berserk. We've eliminated 5 NPC guard squads so far and are seeking the next target. Victory reports came one after another, and on Nguyen's spirit soared. Judging the timing right, he messaged Kynian, "Your people can move." Soon Kynian replied, "Thanks for everything up to now." Nguyen waved it off. "No need to be polite," Kynian said. "I will make good use of the chance you gave and take over Red Wind Camp." Nguyen sensed something off. "I will take over. I will be Lord," Kynian answered. "You were still that naive. With such a good chance before me, how could I yield it to you? You said Red Wind Camp would be Blue Sam Camp's best partner. So if I take all of it myself, isn't that better?" Nguyen was stunned, unable to believe it. So the NPC had played him. He had thought the favor was maxed and the other was a reliable partner, who knew that after using him the other would flip. "Why?" he forced himself to ask clearly. Kynian said, "I can't find a reason not to. I already had someone secretly poison Red Wind's Lord. His mind is clouded now. This is the best time to act. Bandits rampage, otherworldly travelers make trouble. Residents go mad and attack each other. The camp is a mess. If I leave my men to pacify the chaos and step on stage like a savior, the residents will naturally recommend me as the next lord, and even if they don't, it doesn't matter. The smokers will stand with me and lead the chorus for me to be lord. When most consent, those who don't are aberrant and can be expelled or eliminated on some pretext. In the end, Red Wind Camp will belong to me as before." To ensure nothing goes wrong, I even hired someone to assassinate Dr. Luke Min. Sadly it failed. "What about me?" Nguyen shouted. "I've helped you with so much since we met. Was our bond fake?" Kynian said, "Even if our personal ties were the deepest, I still wouldn't give up Red Wind Camp for you. Leaving you a little life I can do. it won't waste our acquaintance. Unwin burned with fury. He knew NPCs in Doomsday Camp were all kinds of strange, good and bad, but he had believed only players got scammed when their compatibility clashed, whereas if they clicked at first sight he could safely grind favor and not worry about betrayal. Earlier acts by Kynian had seemed to prove it. They were close and in sync, yet he never imagined that harmony existed only while interests didn't collide. Once real interests were touched, Kynian tossed him aside without hesitation. He had cleared many trials and by rights the favor should have been full, but Kynian still betrayed him without a pause. In real life this sort is called an ungrateful white-eyed wolf. And Unwin seethed, wishing to hack Kynian to pieces. I'm busy. No more chatting, Kynian added, and then ignored him no matter what he said. Unwin, face twisted with anger, slammed the table with a heavy fist. Guild members were still messaging him non-stop. We wiped out 8 more patrol teams, victory is in sight, the camp is in great turmoil, residents have fallen into emotional panic, some NPCs and players are fishing in troubled waters and tagging along to make a mess, we're not fighting alone. Yet now no good news could ease him. He stared at a black watch, color shifting as if urgently plotting a counter. While he pondered, a crowd rushed in. For easier contact the guild members had exchanged real names, handles, and home addresses, and now they showed up, plainly partners on paper. Unwin had already formed a bad idea, but before he could act Kynian had outplayed him. Still he forced a smile and asked, "Why are you here? Didn't we agree on division of labor to resist NPC tyranny?" One man lowered his head in guilt, another tried to keep an even tone. After yesterday's meeting, Van Sam came to me in secret and said that instead of chasing wealth with you we should make a deal with her, because everything we want she has, no need to risk it. A bolt from the blue. Unwin's gaze sank. And you agreed, the man said bleakly. Van Sam said if we couldn't agree in private she'd have NPCs speak to us. Who is she to command NPCs? Unwin laughed in anger. It was just talk. Since when is it real? It's real, another said softly. When we logged in this morning we saw many NPCs watching near our logout spots, and the least wrong word meant a strike. Those who know the times live long. Unwin fell silent. Honestly, this is on you, someone shot back. With so many potential partners, why did you bring Van Sam into the guild? She's obviously on the same side as the NPCs. Unwin thought he had borrowed her strength first so she wouldn't choke him midway, yet he hadn't expected this woman to be so ruthless as to spare not even partners. A friendly face masking a heart-long set on undermining him and stealing his seat. Or is Van Sam? He ground out. She didn't come, the members said. Since they were betraying, they needed a head-taking merit to present, and nothing spoke louder than felling Unwin to show their stance. They only hoped Lady Van Sam would be magnanimous and, seeing how much they had done, grant one more chance, or else with NPCs watching their little lives would be over. Unwin found the world absurd. He had thought he would make his name today. Who knew he'd be toyed with one after another, and the ones toying with him did not even show their faces and still kicked him out of the game. Then what are those victory reports? He asked again. All members join hands to deceive you to steady the situation and root out the hidden safety hazard completely. Someone answered, didn't you notice, none of your men has sent any news, because they are either dead or tied up. Unwin understood, what he thought watertight was riddled with holes. Succeeding at rebellion was far too hard. Someone at his side urged, enough talk, the longer we delay the more can go wrong. End it. And as the words fell, countless attacks swallowed the man whole. Unwin couldn't be bothered to dodge. At this moment he had only one thought, Kynian, for all his schemes, might not be the one who laughs last. At the same time the streets rang with shouts, I wear a sachet every day and take medicine daily. It cost me dearly to keep my illness down, and the moment I smelled powder my rage came back. If I don't beat you, who will I beat? A passerby seized a mass brawler's sleeve, face hard. Not far off, flames rose to the sky. That was patrol squads searching house to house with wet cloths over nose and mouth, burning to ash every pack of cigarettes they found. Fighting broke out everywhere in the camp. That was the guards seizing spies from Blue Sam camp and carrying out a grand purge. Residents of low combat power had long been ordered by the Lord to hole up in their cellar rings and not come out without cause. Anyone bold enough to wander the streets trusted their own strength. Seeing how fierce the fighting was, Luke Min tilted his head and said to Van Sam, go now, make a loop and come back later. Van Sam refused. If I go, what about you? Luke Min said, if you stay I'll keep thinking of you, and that splits my focus. What about the Beast Manor? Van Sam pressed. Luke Min said, I'll look after it for you. Before she could speak again he added, if you insist on staying then let's talk of something else, say, meeting another day. Van Sam, then I'm off. Books. Take care.